listen.
Yeah, baby.
It's a twilight event. Welcome to Fox coverage of the Toyota Owners 400 from Richmond Raceway. They've already rolled them off pit road. You'll see the starting lineup on the left side of your screen. Let's dial up our pole sitter.
Oh, man, I love talking to the pole sitter. Martin Truex Jr. at TW. You got me, buddy?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Man, I know you've had a couple of rough weeks, but that is a fast car. You're on the pole tonight. Is this the night you get that first short track win?
I sure hope it is. Well, it's a 400 laps, but feel pretty good about it. Been running really good at this racetrack, and I really like racing here. See if we can put it together tonight. It sure be a nice place to check that box off.
All right, buddy. Well, good luck. You got a good car, and it's the night you can do it. Good luck.
10-4, buddy. You guys have fun up there.
Oh, we will. We
yeah.
promise you we will. And we'll have some fun down on pit road. Let's begin with Vince Welch.
You know, in 2 races here at Richmond last year, Joey Logano finished first and second. But if he's to contend for a win tonight, they say he's got to be better, specifically better on the long run. So if we have a long green flag run, which we surely will, keep an eye on the 22 and how he fares during that stretch. Matt Yoakum?
Denny Hamlin is always a pre-race favorite when we come to his home track at Richmond. But Friday, he described it as frustrating. The setup changed before qualifying, a complete yard sale. 5 or 6 laps later, he knocked down the 4th starting spot. But still, Mike Wheeler, the crew chief, told me it was a huge learning and confidence booster for this team. But that was only 5 or 6 laps. This is 400. Have to wait and see how their teammates setup works in the 11. Regan Smith?
In 471 Cup starts, Kyle Busch is #1 after starting worse than 30th or qualifying worse than 30th position. Twice before at Richmond, he's qualified worse than 30th, and he's finished second both times. If Kyle wants to get his 3rd straight win tonight, he's going to have to do so from the 32nd starting position.
Yeah, Regan, in the pre-race, you heard Kyle Busch talk about the way the tires give up. For that reason right there, the strategy will be simple. That yellow flag waves, you hit pit road for 4 fresh Goodyear tires. And let's take a look at our race analysis. We're going to go 400 laps, which is 300 miles. The first 2 stages, 100 laps. At final stage to the checkered flag, 200 laps. Pit road speed, critical, 40 miles per hour. The fuel window, 110 to 120 laps. The grip level of 2, remember, 5 is a lot of grip. 1 is like being on ice, Mike.
Thanks, Larry. There's the 2018 Toyota Camry XSE that leads the field on a beautiful spring night to go short track racing in Richmond. Temps got up into the high 60s today. Currently 64 degrees, track temp under full sunny skies. 90 degrees, winds out of the northwest at 5.
The pace car might need a new rear bumper.
Truex got to the back of it already.
Bumping him pretty good. That's Brett Bodine in the pace car. I think it was a wake-up call.
Martin Truex on short tracks in what's now the K&N Series. He won twice at Stafford, Connecticut, once at Thompson, Connecticut. And in the Xfinity Series, he has a win at Bristol, Indianapolis Raceway Park, and Memphis. Just not in the Cup Series.
400 to win the race. See you in victory lane when it's over. Good luck, bud. Forward late. Have a good one up there, bud. Good luck in there, guys. Appreciate the fast car and the pole. Let's go get them.
That's your pole sitter, Martin Truex, and here they come.
All right, here we go. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing on this short track, boys.
Oh, the 22 already up the racetrack into turn 1.
She didn't stick at all.
Kyle Larson to capitalize, trying to beat Logano for second place. Edges ahead, coming off turn 4 on this D-shaped curving front straightaway, and they're door-to-door in 1.
Yeah, Kyle Larson's already door-to-door and up to second.
I think that's one of those things that you fear as a driver, Mike. Hit that first turn and the car doesn't stick, and it takes off up the hill like you saw the 22 of Logano did.
And also amazing how that outside lane really suffered on that start.
Kyle Busch taking him 3 wide any way he can get him, way in the back. Picking up time.
We might have an outside groove by the time he gets to the front.
We're going to see a lot of that as he marches toward the front.
I think that works good for a guy back in there. Here we got the 4-car of Harvick going around the 12-car of Blaney. But that outside will work good, Mike, because everybody's fighting for the bottom. So if you can get around the outside, you might be able to get by a bunch of cars.
Ryan Newman trying the outside in the 31 there against Stenhouse. Clint Boyer in the 14 to follow. Clint Boyer wearing our Fox visor cam tonight.
You can see he's just moving up the lane, up the track a little bit, try to get a little clean air to that nose, get to the quarter panel of the 31 of Ryan Newman.
No, Mike, clear, dude. No
That
pressure.
just shows you how hard it is to get the grip to those rear tires up off the corner.
One thing I don't like about the outside, Mike, if something should happen in front of Kyle Busch, they come right up in front of you, and you have nowhere to go. So it's it's a kind of a catch-22.
You know,
good news,
Darryl,
bad news.
8 wheels corner better than 4.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Well, I can promise you Kyle Busch right now is not thinking about any of that.
Jimmy Johnson in the 48 against David Reagan. Qualified 17th, and that's where he races.
We saw how strong that 48 car was last week at Bristol. Really fast car, nice finish, maybe a little bit of momentum. Haven't quite seen that this weekend, so we're all waiting to see. And I think Jimmy's waiting to see what this car's going to do in the long run here.
7th place, Kurt Busch on the inside. Rookie William Byron drops in behind him.
Well, William's going to get to go to school here a little bit by one of the best on these short tracks, Kurt Busch.
Yeah, William had a nice qualifying run, and well, William Byron right now, Mike, he will go to school. That's one thing that he really believes in, is watching and studying.
Kyle Busch three wide once again.
Yikes.
Now that was risky.
Yep, around Trevor Bayne and Austin Dillon.
But just look at that. He got by 3 cars in a straightaway because he's willing to take that outside.
2nd place, Joey Logano, the 22 Ford, taking the spot from Kyle Larson.
I think this is something I've been waiting to see, and that's the 22 of Joey Logano. A year ago, he won this race. They got a penalty after this race and really kind of just fell off the radar. And now here tonight, it looks like that strength is back.
Yeah, that team's been, I think he's leading the points, I believe, and that team has been very consistent, much better than they were last year.
What I'm seeing with Kyle Busch reminds me of weekly short track racing where they start by a handicap and the big gun has to start in the back. The spotters tell their drivers, here he comes, you going to battle him or are you going to stay out of his way?
Well, we need to start him in the back every week then.
I'm going to stay out of his way, I can tell you that.
Most people will.
And I bet Kyle Larson would tell you the same thing.
Chase Elliott, son of a former champion, carrying his dad's number 9 on that Hendrick Chevrolet. Running 3rd behind the Toyota of Truex and the Ford of Logano. Larry?
Yeah, Joey Logano on that 22 car. I talked to his crew chief, Todd Gordon, this morning. Joey was not happy with that car on the long runs yesterday, and they actually made quite a number of changes to that car, and I think Todd was anxious to see what they were going to have, especially on the long run. So good so far.
Let's have a look at 6th place. That is Eric Jones, last year's Rookie of the Year in the 20. As Kurt Busch moves up.
The little 41 car has made a couple of good passes here. Right now he's moved up to 6th spot. Kurt Busch has. Car looks pretty decent for him early on.
I think with practice happening during the day for this night race and still that sun is out, we're going to see a lot of adjustments and things that these drivers are complaining about that they want changed after this first run.
And you know what, Jeff? Every one of these drivers said this track has the least amount of grip of any track we go to, including Atlanta.
Kyle Busch has passed more than 1 car per lap.
And it's fun too, Mike.
Oh man, I'm having a blast. This is awesome.
Denny Hamlin, the hometown hero, goes to 4th place. So it's Truex, Logano, Elliott, Hamlin, and Larson, the Fast 5.
Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Racing Toyota Owners 400 is sponsored by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Monster Energy, official sponsor of NASCAR.
20 laps complete. Martin Truex, the pole sitter, is your leader. There you see the gap, 2.5 back to Joey Logano. Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, and Kurt Busch. Kyle Busch has passed 17 cars. He's up to 15. Looking at Clint Bowyer there. Regan?
Mike, Kyle Busch's crew chief Adam Stevens told me just before the race he wanted to be careful to not try and make everything up all at once that they lost in qualifying on Friday. Well, if that was the case, his driver didn't get the memo as we see him pass for 14th already. Kyle Busch is extremely fast and quiet on the radio right now.
He's got to be quiet, Regan. He's working hard right now. I mean, he's got his hands full, but he is going on to the front.
If tire management's going to be important, he's not going to have any tires left at the end of this run.
Jimmie Johnson mired in 17th, right where he started, and may have brushed the wall in turn 2, Matt.
Mike, Chad Knaus told Jimmie Johnson to adjust the balance of his race car with the track bar and also the brake bias. You mentioned he traded a little bit of paint with the wall, and the wall lost.
Man, I tagged the wall off them too. Keep her dry, we'll find something. I don't see any smoke. Get some pictures.
Quite a bit of damage, Jeff. The right front, the whole right side of the car really has quite a bit of damage on it.
Yeah, he was actually behind the 18. Probably lost a little bit of air. Just tried to carry a little bit too much momentum off that corner. That turn 2 wall can get you in a hurry.
Here's 4th place at the line.
Oh, that 41 car.
He is fast.
He's pretty fast, I'm telling you.
I've been watching lap times. We've been watching the 22 of Logano slightly close in on our leader, Martin Truex Jr., but this 41 car, Kurt Busch, matching those times of Joey Logano.
Yeah, the first 10 cars all running within 1/10 of each other, lap after lap.
And you heard them talk about Chad Knaus talking to Jimmie Johnson about making adjustments. You can also, this is one of those short tracks, you can make adjustments as a driver. How you turn in the corner, where you turn in, how much speed you carry in, brakes, coming off the brakes. There's a lot of things you can do to change the balance of the car from corner to corner.
Yeah, Jeff, don't you think this is one of those tracks where you slow down and go faster, get out of the gas a little earlier, let the car roll a little bit? Work the throttle. That's your best friend.
Yes, but I've also been here when I didn't carry enough speed in the corner and load up that right front tire to get it to pivot turn.
Kyle Busch challenging Alex Bowman for 12th place.
Look how he just carries just the right amount of speed into the corner. It's a little bit more than Alex Bowman, but it's all about the corner exit. That's where he really gains on these other drivers he's passing.
Vince?
One of the things about Alex Bowman, he's not raced here since 2015, and it's not one of his favorite tracks. Hasn't had good results here. Greg Ives told me just before the race, one of the things he has worked on as a crew chief is not so much the car, but the driver, building Alex's confidence throughout the course of the weekend, bringing him to a racetrack where he's not as comfortable, not as confident, but making sure to provide positive feedback to him to try to give him a good result tonight.
Greg Ives. Pretty sharp guy right there. He and Bowman, they work pretty well together.
Well, Bowman now under fire from Clint Bowyer. Turn 2.
And like, you know, the other thing, everybody knows that Kyle Busch was back in the field. So he catches you. You say, okay, I'm not going to put up a big fight right now. As long as the people that I started around, the people I'm racing around, as long as they're not past me, I'm holding my own, I'm going to let him go.
Yeah, but that's demoralizing to every car. The further forward he gets, they say, are you kidding me? Didn't he start 32nd? He's already up here passing me.
But we knew from practice he'd be fast. And they just didn't hit on the right setup, get the right lap in qualifying, and did not transfer out of the first round of knockout qualifying yesterday.
So are you surprised that he's driving up to the front like that?
No, I'm not.
Well, neither are those other guys.
I would have been surprised. Yeah,
I don't
not that
think
they're
the other
not
guys
surprised. They just wish they weren't watching it happen.
I agree with you. I know what you're saying, but I knew he was coming.
17th place. Ricky Stenhouse on the outside of Jimmie Johnson.
We've seen Ricky Stenhouse really work that middle and outer groove so well at so many different tracks, and he's doing that again tonight.
But you know what was funny, Mike? I asked a number of these guys when we were down there on pit road. I said, you were really good last week at Bristol. How about tonight? Every two a man said, this ain't Bristol.
No.
Whoa, a little nudge there from Jimmie Johnson into the left rear quarter panel of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Could have been big.
And I think the other part too, Mike, is we're 32 laps into this run. That's a pretty good run on these tires. They're going to wear pretty quick this first go round to get a little rubber down on the track. You run out of tires, sometimes your car just goes someplace and you just can't control it.
Let's move up to third place. Chase Elliott. He is 3.4 seconds back of the leader. He's got a mirror full of Kurt Busch in that 41. Matt?
Hey, Mike, we documented earlier in the show about the 11 and Denny Hamlin making their wholesale changes. They were not alone. I talked to Kurt Busch this morning, and he said that basically this was a huge confidence booster for he and crew chief Billy Scott, because they had the confidence in each other, knowing the setup wasn't working. Completely yard sailed their setup. It worked in qualifying, which really surprised them. Now they just have to hunker down and see if it's going to work with this racetrack that's going to change, especially when the sun goes down.
Elliott holding on to third here. His dad, Bill, had one win here, 1992.
And back to the 41 car, Mike. Remember last week in practice, Kurt Busch by far had the best car. And all of a sudden he's coming off turn 2 and he loses, spins out, and they got to go to a backup. Got a good car again tonight.
Kurt Busch moves up to third, and Joey Logano is closing on the leader, Martin Truex. There they are, 1-2. Laps complete in Richmond. Martin Truex led the first 38 of them, and then here came the driver from Connecticut, Joey Logano, in his Penske Racing Ford to the outside and by for the lead.
And Mike, I saw Todd Gordon as I was walking down pit road, and I said, "Are you money tonight?" And he said, "I don't know, DW. It's too early to tell." Okay. I better go back and ask him now. What do you think?
I don't know. What's lap 45 pay?
Yeah, exactly.
That's begin in about 250 laps.
But if you're Joey Logano and you haven't won a race since this race last year, that's a reward for that team.
Kyle Busch took less than 40 laps to come from 32nd into the top 10. Currently 9th. Back in 19th, Brad Keselowski, who also missed the top 24 in knockout qualifying, having more of a struggle, Regan, getting to the front.
Mike, he's had a heck of a struggle so far tonight. Earlier today, he was pumped up about his race car. He told me that this is a very good long-run race car and expected to make a move to the front very quick in this race. That hasn't materialized yet as he looks at his teammate up front leading the race in Joey Logano. He is still having trouble making progress from 19th. All quiet on the radio so far.
And here's the Kyle and Kyle show. 7 times in the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series, they have finished 1-2. With Kyle Busch on the winning end all 7 times.
Look at Almirola's going to make it 3 wide here.
I'm pretty sure that Kyle Larson may have that written on his dash.
Oh, man, what a great race that was. Oh, a little wiggle by the 10 of Eric Almirola. This is, to me, the part of the run where the rear tires are really starting to go away. So you're seeing those that have worn those rear tires out struggling big time on the exit. Matt?
And the 42 of Kyle Larson, he's following that 18 like he's done the past couple of times. The issue is no drive off. He's tried working the track bar to help the entry of the corner, which was also way too free. It hasn't really helped a whole lot, but it certainly hasn't hurt the center. He's just riding right now.
Yeah, I can really see there's some that are really hanging on.
Jeff, what would that stack of goose eggs do to you?
Oh, that would sting.
Motivation.
And motivate me, yes.
Both.
And trust me, Kyle Larson, like Kyle Busch, he's used to winning. He's won in pretty much everything he's gotten into, including in the Cup Series.
But when the same guy beats you over and over and over again, that becomes really annoying.
Hey, guys, how about this? William Byron in the Exalta Chevrolet coming to the front, passing Denny Hamlin at Richmond, one of Denny's best tracks.
Byron, the 20-year-old college student from Charlotte, driving for Rick Hendrick, cut his teeth on the quarter-mile oval that uses pit road in the front straightaway at Charlotte in a 1200cc Legends car, and then worked his way up to NASCAR and to the top level like a rocket. Austin Dillon has been coming on. He started way back in 23rd in the number 3, and here he is battling Ryan Blaney and Alex Bowman for 14th.
Tell you what, the Childress cars looked really strong last week, and this 3 car this week looks good again. So they're making a little progress with those Childress cars.
Regan?
Mike, Austin Dillon's running an experimental setup in that race car that they have not tried here before. Justin Alexander felt like they could try that because of their win in the Daytona 500 earlier this year. They're thinking ahead to the playoffs later on this season already.
Yes, and that's a great point, because Richmond is no longer the last race in the regular season. It will be in the playoffs, and drivers that have already won get a chance to do a little experimenting.
I thought it was real interesting down on pit road, Darrell. You talked about how the crew chiefs were all full of information and sharing. Eric Almirola, a couple of guys said, watch this 10 car. He's marched from 25th all the way up inside the top 10, just past Kyle Busch. This is a guy that was on the short list of guys you'd have to beat tonight to win this race, and you can see why now.
Wow. Yeah, well, I tell you, Michael, all of those Stewart-Haas cars are running good. You got the 4 running 5th, the 10 running 7th, the 14th running 11th. They're all running really, really well tonight.
Joey Logano getting into some lap traffic here, Vince.
You know, it's been very encouraging for Logano, though, as he continues to lead by more than a second and a half off of Truex. You know, one of the issues, even though they've had 7 top 10 finishes this season in 8 races, which is tied with Kyle Busch, they've not really contended for the wins. And Logano's team knew they just needed a little more speed. So to show that speed early, granted it's early, but they've definitely shown it here tonight. Can they keep it to the end? If they can, that's going to be a big step forward for this 22 team.
Casey Kane going a lap down. They had power steering trouble last week at Bristol. Logano, by the way, will be on NASCAR Race Hub Wednesday on FS1, the daily show where you get all your news and information about your favorite sport. Kyle Busch is marked up to 8th place. Things get a little more difficult. He's 8 seconds behind race leader Joey Logano after 57 of 400 laps in Richmond.
Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Racing Toyota Owners 400 is sponsored by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR.
64 of 100 laps complete in stage 1 of this 3-act play at Richmond Raceway tonight. Joey Logano leading by 2.6 seconds in his Penske Ford number 22. Picking him up, putting him down. Kurt Busch is the new 2nd place car, 2.5 back. But drivers like Kyle Larson 10th, Denny Hamlin 11th, Brad Keselowski in 15th, Blaney in 16th, and especially Jimmy Johnson in 18th. Larry Mack, they can't wait to get to pit road and make some adjustments.
They are going to need some major adjustments and a whole lot more. So one of the adjustments I can show you, let's go to the right front shot of the 43 car and Bubba Wallace. This is a shock absorber right there, and the shaft in the shims are right down in that area. And you see this little red tie wrap? It actually has a shim on the end of it. Now, let's show you what they can do with those shims by going to our Ford Performance car. We're going to look right here at the shock shaft itself. And what these are like travel limiters. And you can slide those shims on the shaft if you want the car to travel a little bit more to seal that splitter off, or you can actually pull the shim off the shaft if maybe your splitter's bottoming out. Those are simply just travel limiters, and I think that's adjustments they can make, Mike, that can really affect the handling of that race car.
Thanks, Larry. Here's Kyle Busch battling Kevin Harvick for 7th place. And Busch has been passing him wherever he catches him, and usually on the outside.
Yeah, Michael, you see a lot of 3-wide racing, but I tell you why. Some guys' tires are pretty good, they run the bottom. Some guys not so good, they run the middle. And guys that tires aren't very good at all, they just run the real high up top side.
One thing we know, he's not going to be needing to pull any shims or do anything with that setup when they come to pit road.
While we were away, Ricky Stenhouse made an unscheduled pit stop, got tires, came back out, short pitting. We're told that that was a strategy call to bring him in early for tires. He has gone a lap down. Let's check with Matt.
Mike, Kevin Harvick told me on the grid the most positive thing about his car from practice was the drive off. It was exceptional. He said a few moments ago to Rodney Childers, it's a completely different race car than we had yesterday. Loose everywhere, and the drive off non-existent.
Wow. Wait till it gets dark.
Yeah.
Wait till it turns to nighttime and it cools off. It'll be another different racetrack.
And I just think, remember, this first run, we're on tires they qualified on. So they have several laps on them already. They took a little bit of that wear off, and they're just getting worse and worse as this run goes on. I guarantee you these drivers are screaming, just hoping that the caution comes out or that crew chief calls them down pit road.
Yeah, we're at 71 laps, Mike, and we have not, I mean, we've been 71 racing hard laps, so you're going to have some tire wear in this go round.
Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson on the outside in the 42, 11th place.
We saw right away where Kyle Larson had a great car to take off for the race when we got the green flag, but it fell off very fast. Great battle here for third position. Aric Almirola, he is marching forward along with his teammate Kurt Busch.
Remember now, I think Aric Almirola had I don't know how long ago it's been, 3, 4, 5 years ago, had a great run here driving for the Petties on this racetrack.
It's true. How about our pole sitter, Vince?
Well, as you noted, Martin Truex Jr. started from the pole, but now finds himself in fourth after giving up that position to Almirola, just as burned off the right rear. And as you guys talked about, guys screaming for help, whether it's adjustments or tires, include Martin Truex in that group for sure.
And Jeff, I'm concerned and curious. Aric Almirola's got the fastest car on the track. What if this car changes as the track changes? Would you rather be good now, or if you had all that speed, would you be a little bit worried?
Well, I mean, these guys look so good on the long run. That tells me whatever their setup is, it really keeps the drive off and the rear tires on the car. So I wouldn't change that, but we do know the balance is going to change a bit in the middle of the corners as sun goes down.
Almirola and all three of his Stewart-Haas teammates are in the top 10.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Mike. I got the 41 running second, the 10 right behind him, the 4 not 4 back, and the 14. They're all running great. That's encouraging for those guys.
25 laps to go to the end of stage 1, when we'll get a caution flag and everybody will get a chance for Goodyear tires and Sunoco race fuel.
Coming on the straightaway, Hamlin's in second, moving up high on the inside. Watch the inside. Hamlin makes his move. Denny Hamlin is expected to come out strong today as his qualifying puts him in the pole position.
Toyota, let's go places.
These are the world's most hardcore wheelmen. Speed is their only master. Victory, their only reward. Critics call Kansas Speedway a heartbreaker and the toughest track on the circuit. So pack your cooler and buckle in, because this May's biggest action hit is still being written. The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series at Kansas Speedway. Rated U for unexpected.
While cars, tracks, and drivers may change, the smooth citrus taste that drives us remains the same. Only Mellow Yellow.
This next song is all about my $20 fill-up. 8 pieces of Kentucky Fried Chicken, all the fixings, and it'll feed your family of 4. Hit it, boys. A 1 and a 2, and we're out of time. It's finger-licking good. Woo!
On Thursday, for the first time ever, the NFL Draft is live on Fox.
With the first pick in the NFL Draft.
Join Troy Aikman and Joel Klatt for the 2018 NFL Draft. Thursday and Friday, live on Fox and NFL Network. At Talladega, you either go fast
Outside, come on.
or you go home.
Calamity Corner, turn 3. Joey Logano to the inside. Welcome back to Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Racing from Richmond. 5th place. Now, you saw Ricky Stenhouse drive right around that battle for 5th because he has fresh tires from short pitting. We've not had a caution lap 83 laps in.
No, but we've had him racing all the way from the bottom of the yellow line almost to the wall. It's been incredible. 3-4 wide racing.
Guys, on this short pitting on Ricky Stenhouse Jr., I just don't agree with that here. It works somewhere like at Atlanta, Auto Club Speedway. He went 2 laps down. Yeah, he's made one of those laps up, but as Joey Logano keeps lapping other cars, he's not even going to get to the free pass position. This is just not the track to be short pitting.
Yeah, and Larry, I know there's a lot of fall off. The tires really fade here, but this is a very long pit road and a fast short track.
I can tell you somebody that's got a fast car is at 41. He's chasing down that 22. We're going to have a battle for the lead right here in a minute, Mike.
Kurt Busch, former series champ from Las Vegas. First of those Stewart-Haas Fords that are all running in the top 9.
The 41, Mike, I know their tires are worn, both of them, but the 41 gets through traffic just a little bit better than Logano does. Busch a little better in traffic.
Yeah,
3 Fords out front, then William Byron Chevrolet. Truex first to the Toyotas in 6th.
Well, I just, to me right now, it's the surprises. I did not expect Logano to be this good. I didn't expect for Kurt Busch to be this good. And Almirola and William Byron, I mean, that is impressive.
Jimmy Johnson started 17th. He's running 20th and about to go a lap down to the leader. Johnson in the 48 outside Logano, right of your screen.
Boy, Johnson's just had a miserable night already. Been in the wall, got the whole right side of the car all caved in, and the car obviously not doing anything near what he would like for it to do.
But Larry, to put this in perspective, if you're really good at lap 80, what are the chances you're going to be really good at lap 380?
Well, we know this track is going to change, Mike, and that's always been one of the fears of being maybe too good at the start of a race in the daytime, but it's where you have to keep up with the track. You have to stay on top of the changes.
12 laps to the end of stage 1. Yeah, Brad Keselowski's car has climbed to 12th, probably running a little more to his liking. And Kyle Busch's march to the front might be stalled here at 6th. He battled Clint Boyer, could not pass him. Now leads Truex and Elliott.
Mike, I think right now it's 89 laps. I think everybody's just hanging on. Trying to, get to the end of this stage, get some fresh tires, make some adjustments, go at it again.
I certainly know Truex is. You can just see the way that he's not able to do much to prevent any of these passes to come, and he's just almost letting them go by. He's just saying, please give me tires.
Mike, the fast lap when we started this race, 22:58. Right now, last time by, guess what we ran? 25 flat. So we're just about stopped.
Well, for Kyle Busch, mission accomplished to come from 32nd to 7th. When they pit at lap 100 and the caution comes out to end stage 1, he's going to be a top 10 car, and I'd call that a win from where he started.
Definitely a win. I just can't believe the pace right now, how slow we're going.
Well, now here's Ricky Stenhouse. He's about to get his other lap back from Joey Logano.
Yeah, he's not going to have to worry about the free pass, so he will be back on the lead lap as we're less than 10 laps to go before the end of stage 1.
And Larry, don't you think there's probably some computer software and programs that these teams have that are telling them and helping them with their pit strategy? Something must have told that 17 team, hey, if we want to stay on the lead lap, this is what we need to do.
Yeah, because he's used his stuff up, but he still has much fresher tires by pitting at lap 58 than these drivers that's been out there for 92 laps.
It's one thing I kind of learned the hard way a couple of times. Second guessing those guys down there in the pits, the crew chiefs. Sometimes it's just they know a little bit more than we do, seems like.
Austin Dillon in the top 10. His teammate Ryan Newman 1 spot back as they battle for stage points here. 7 laps from now will be the end of stage 1. Vince.
You know, with the number of sets of tires that these teams have, it breaks down to about one set for every 40 laps. We've run more than 90 laps in this first stage on tires that they used during qualifying. So it's no surprise that everyone is screaming because of handling, and for the most part, it's because of the tires. So keep an eye. We have another long green flag stretch in stage 2. We're going to see a similar play out possibly to what we're seeing right now. Who's fast on the long runs? That could be the difference maker tonight.
Not sure anyone expected we would fire off from the opening green flag with 100 straight laps of green flag racing, but that's what's happening here. 5 to go in stage 1.
Yeah, and do you think Joey Logano looks in his mirror and says, is that the 10 car closing on me? Because Almirola is closing fast.
All right, Logano putting Daniel Hemrick, the Kannapolis, North Carolina young man, making his Cup debut in Richard Childress's number 8. Eric Almirola to the outside of Bubba Wallace.
What I like about what I'm seeing out of Almirola, besides it just has a fast car, he's able to run a different line than a lot of other cars, so he's not getting held up in traffic as much as Logano is.
What I see, Jeff, is he's getting off the corner really, really well. Everybody else seems like they're pedaling their car a little bit. He can just mat it and come off straight.
Yeah, right in the middle of the racetrack, too.
4 to go in stage 1. Well, to put a period in the Stenhouse story, when he pitted, he was 18th. And on the lead lap, he's going to end this stage, it looks like, in 16th or 15th on the lead lap. After that stop.
I think that was a gain. I know it was a very little gain, but I think the risk of him going a lap down was very high.
The only way it worked, it had to stay green.
That's exactly right.
All right, pit road is closed as we're in the final 2 laps of stage 1. Now it's Kevin Harvick in 10th. Austin Dillon passed him. So Harvick looking to pick up the last stage point here.
You saw Harvick fighting that thing up off the corner, Mike. That's just how loose and out of control these cars are right now.
Joey Logano, whose last Cup win came in this event last year, about to pick up only his 2nd stage win in his career, and his first one of 2018. Daniel Suarez just ahead. Here comes Logano low, not going to put Suarez another lap down, and there is the green and white checkered flag to end stage 1 with Eric Almirola 2nd by 0.6 of a second. Kurt Busch, William Byron with a great drive for 4th, and Clint Bowyer 5th. Final stage point will go to Kevin Harvick. Joey is your stage winner. Today's the 17th annual Comcast Cares Day, a culmination of their year-round commitment to volunteerism. All weekend long, fans have had fun stopping by the Xfinity Zone to learn more about this day of service. Pit road will be open this time. The only drivers who have been on pit road are Harrison Rhodes, who was 7 laps down in the 51, and Ricky Stenhouse, who went 2 laps down with an early pit stop, short pitting, but worked his way back up onto the lead lap and 13th. Bubba Wallace will get the free pass. He and David Reagan came across the line side by side, fighting to be the first car 1 lap down. The edge to Wallace. All right, pit crew's at the ready. Here's Regan Smith.
Eric Almirola heads to his pit box. He has an opening in and out of his pit box because the cars around him are a lap down. He's happy with his race car, wants to roll the middle just a little bit better than what he was this last run. 4 tires and fuel for him. Matt?
Getting on the front straightaway portion, the flat section, 41 of Kurt Busch, he was pretty much loose everywhere, entry, center, and exit of the corner. But because they're putting on sticker tires, he did not want to make any significant changes, Vince.
The 22, Joey Logano, pits from the lead, says it's just a little bit too free off, but the balance is pretty close. 4 tires and an air pressure adjustment, a little bit slow on the stop as the 22 gets away.
Joey Logano will lead him off pit road. A rough stop for Eric Almirola, 20 seconds. And we'll get back to that after we hear from our stage winner.
Let's dial up Joey Logano. Hey, Joey, this is Jeff up in the Fox Sports booth. You got me, bud?
Got you loud and clear.
Well, man, It's been pretty well documented that it's been a year since we've seen this 22 car running like this. Must feel really good. Congrats on that stage win. Can you keep it going?
I hope so. Our car's definitely pretty good. I feel like the log run is sometimes our weakness here at Richmond, and seems like we've been able to get on the other side of that, but I'm sure the track's going to go through a transition here. We got to make sure we're up on that. Looks like the Stewart-Haas cars in the rearview mirror are pretty good. We'll do what we can do to try to keep the Shell Pennzoil Ford up front, but all the Fords look to be pretty good right now, but anything's something to change, so we'll keep pushing hard.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us, and good luck on keeping up with the racetrack.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Hopefully we're in the same spot at the end of it.
Joey Logano wins stage 1 on the short track in Richmond. Sundown in Richmond. Look at the pit comparison lower left. Aric Almirola had a long stop. What happened, Larry?
Yeah, Mike, you could pit that car 100 more times and not have this happen. On the right side, you're going to see the jack right there. Look at the right rear tire. It's actually going to twist the handle and drop the car. You could not do that again if you tried.
Kevin Harvick's team throwing equipment. He goes to the back. Uncontrolled tire. Kyle Larson and A.J. Allmendinger. They will restart in the back. Fords out front. Logano and Kurt Busch, the Toyota of Kyle Busch, and the Chevy of William Byron are the front 2 rows for the restart. Here they come to the Geico restart zone for stage 2.
Mike, I believe Logano's going to have his hands full with a couple of great cars right here. That 41 for one.
Remember the original start when he drove in deep into turn 1 and went up the racetrack. This time he does a really nice job of hugging that bottom. But the 41 fight back on the outside.
Yeah, that 41's pretty fast, I'm telling you.
Lapped car ahead. Harrison Rose just exited the pits. Well, he won't be a factor as Kurt Busch takes the lead and becomes the 3rd different leader of this race.
Well, now, this is when I get really curious. When you get the lead, you get control of the race like we saw Truex, and you run that faster pace. Is that going to wear the tires out even faster?
I don't know, Jeff. They went 100 laps. I know the pace slowed way down, and a lot of cars needed tires, obviously, but at least the tires held up well. Did anybody have a tire problem?
Austin Dillon on the inside as Martin Truex in the 78 rolls up into 7th. Here comes Chase Elliott in the 9 for 8th.
You see just creeping into our screen the 2 of Brad Keselowski. Very nice recovery for him. He wasn't moving at all at the beginning of this race, but towards the end of that long run, he started creeping his way forward.
Denny Hamlin hard at work.
Like the shot of that. That's a great shot. Looking down at the dash, looking out the cars ahead of you. Look at Denny's hands. Got it cocked to the left just a little bit. The seat is short track kind of style.
You can see as soon as he touches that throttle how his hand has to adjust that steering wheel.
Yes, he snaps just a little bit.
Hand, feet, eyes, and hands, you know, all those things go together.
Behind him, Keselowski in the 2 and his teammate Ryan Blaney in the 12. Jamie McMurray and Ryan Newman. Well, you were there right on the front bumper of McMurray's car as he comes up to battle Stenhouse for 13th.
Mike, you know something that's kind of interesting to me, the way Stenhouse short pitted, was able to make up 2 laps, and now he's on the lead lap, and he wasn't near the leaders when he pitted. I wonder if somebody took that strategy under consideration and thought if we were near the front, made that kind of a move, would it pay off?
Well, back to Larry McReynolds' point, yeah. If the caution doesn't ever come out.
But if you're near the front, you're not going to lose as much time as Stenhouse did.
True, but you're going to lose a lot coming down pit road here.
Ryan Newman shoots out from between Bowman's 88 and the 51 of Rhodes. Stewart-Haas teammates Boyer on the inside, Almirola the outside.
It's going to take Almirola a little time to overcome that pit stop that he had. But the other thing too, Mike, that 10 car was good on the long run. Maybe it's not that good on these short goes here, but it was really good on the long run.
And we told you about the penalty for throwing equipment on Kevin Harvick's car, not out of frustration. The crewman makes a chassis adjustment, and instead of carrying the wrench back over the wall, well, you'll see this here on the right, and it probably doesn't need any commentary.
I just say this,
slight adjustment and tosses it back over. Ouch.
I just say this, Mike. I wouldn't want to be the one that caught it.
It's got to hurt.
I'm pretty sure you can't do that, and he knew. That's what I don't understand. I thought he would know that they can't do that. I think I was hoping the cameras didn't catch it.
The guy that caught it surely didn't know they could do that.
That's all part of NASCAR's automated pit road officiating system. They have cameras everywhere. Kurt Busch has rolled to almost a full second lead over Joey Logano and surprising rookie William Byron.
Chevy, the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall.
129 laps complete in Monster Energy racing from Richmond. Kurt Busch leading Joey Logano by the same 0.9 of a second as when we went to break. Kyle Busch now has taken third from William Byron, who's trying to hold off the 14 of Clint Boyer. And Boyer goes to fourth on the youngster. Matt?
Mike, before that stop, William Byron said the car's a little bit on the free side, but honestly, I would not change a thing. It's just turning so well. And William Byron is such a student of the game. And Darian Grubb told me it's so impressive how much effort he puts into it. But he did something a little bit different this week, not racing a cup car here. He followed a couple other veterans, namely Kyle Larson and his teammate Jamie McMurray. He realized he was driving in the corner way too deep following the 42. Changed that, and it helped.
Still in the top 5. In fact, Byron's running the top 5 in 6 of the last 7 races this year.
I just think Darian Grubb, think back to he and Tony Stewart. They had such great success together. And now Darian Grubb's over there with that kid, 24. That's a sharp kid. You put those two together, Mike, and I'm just telling you, I think that's a whale of a combination.
Certainly building some confidence and momentum of that communication that's happening between crew chief and driver on that 24 car.
Well, now watch for the 10 there, Almirola, because as you said, Darrell, that's set up. That's a long run car. It doesn't fire off that well on the restart, but the more we run, the closer that car is coming to the front.
We're at lap 33. Just mark that, because lap 30 is when that 10 car and a lot of the Stewart-Haas cars really come on strong.
Yeah, you think about the 41 and Kurt Busch. He chased down the 22 on the long run. So they've obviously got the really good setup in these cars that makes them last.
Kyle Busch is coming. That is Joey Logano, the yellow 22. And Kyle Busch is right there to fight for second place.
Kyle Busch started 32nd.
It's unbelievable that march he had coming up through there. I love all the different lines that I'm seeing. You can run so many different areas of this racetrack, especially turns 3 and 4. Let's watch the 22 and the 18. And I think we see the Almirola or Boyer behind them. Look at that. There's like 3 different lanes they're running through 3 and 4.
Around that curving front straightaway down to turn 1.
And Mike, I think as hard as Kyle Busch races, as hard as he drives, he knows his limits. He knows when he's pushing it too hard.
How about that 4th place car, Vince?
Yeah, rolling pretty well. They were pleased with it during that long green flag stretch. In fact, crew chief Mike Bugaravich told me they want a long run type of race because they feel like Clinton does such a good job of taking care of the car and the tires that they feel like their speed will hang on during the run. They saw that in that first sequence, played out just to their liking. We'll see if it continues to do so.
Yeah, just think back to Martinsville. It's the early race, he wasn't that great at Martinsville, but at middle race on, car really came on strong.
5th place on the left of your screen, 2nd place battle on the right. Jeff, if you're Joey Logano, how hard do you fight these guys right now?
I think with these long green flag runs, you're trying not to use up your tires. You're trying to get them to last as long as you possibly can. So I think right now you're racing the racetrack. Now that's going to change the second half of this race.
You see vote for the captain on the back of Logano's car with a hashtag. The captain is Roger Penske, Logano's team owner. He's one of the nominees this year for the NASCAR Hall of Fame. The fan vote. Unlike any other sport, the fans get a vote in who goes into the hall. That'll all be decided in late May. The top 4 have 10 Richmond wins between them.
I was just going to say, Mike, I just think of all that Roger Penske has done in racing as well as NASCAR racing. He has done so much for motorsports, as much as about anybody, especially from a car owner standpoint, that I can think of.
Yeah, the best compliment I ever got when I was a team owner. Someone came to my shop and they said, "This shop is Penske clean." That made me feel pretty happy. But Mike, I'll tell you, we're now at 20. We started this run at 22:39 was a quick lap. We're at 24 flat right now. Remember, we ended up at 25 at the end of the 100 laps.
That's right. The Busch brothers out front at Richmond at 141 laps complete. Earlier, Larry McReynolds filed this report from the eBay Motors pit box.
As a crew chief here tonight sitting on top of this pit box, I'm going to hear my driver talk about rotor shake. So what is rotor shake? It's not from extensive heat. It's not like a warped rotor. It's actually from lack of heat. Until that rotor gets up to about 800 to 900 degrees Fahrenheit, the grip is inconsistent. When it gets there, we will have consistent grip and the rotor shake will go away. That's what I have to convince my driver of. If it doesn't go away, one thing I can do is tape up the ducts to create a little more heat. That'll actually help front downforce.
Thanks, Larry. Shop every part for every ride at ebay.com/motors.
Larry's always wanting to tape up something.
Downforce, man, downforce.
What did you say? There's no free lunch, right?
They're in.
The lights come on at Richmond, and the glow from the rotors becomes apparent. 57 laps to go in stage 2. Smoke Show hit the pavement with their freestyle motocross team. These guys opened up their whole bag of tricks and had some fun for the fans here today. Clint Bowyer has broken up the Busch Brothers Love Fest at the front of the field. The brothers Busch have only finished 1-2 once. Sonoma in 2015. And you heard Larry talking about rotor shake. It's not like a milkshake. Well, here's Clint Bowyer and company.
Going pretty good, getting into 3.
Yeah, it is into 1 here too. I think I'm gonna pull a little safe next stop. So I was trying to ask him about his brake lever to make sure it's at least centered up.
Your brakes are glowing a lot more than Kyle and a little bit more than Kurt.
That's what they're talking about right there.
Boy, it's still glowing. He's off the brake, off of turn 2, and it's still glowing. Wow. How much heat built up in that rotor.
So, Larry, if they pull a little tape, what'll that do?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly going to help the airflow. Yeah, it will hurt front downforce. And you can see on the right and the left side of the word fusion right there, some little orange tabs. You see how much it's going to start glowing as he brakes going into turn 3, which you use more brake getting into turn 3 is what a lot of drivers told me yesterday. But you can see right there to the left and the right of fusion, that's little pull tabs that they'll open up maybe another inch per side of those brake ducts.
Yeah, Larry, that air, a little more air would take away some of that bright glowing because those things are hot.
7th place, pole sitter Martin Truex pulls his Toyota around the outside of Chase Elliott's Chevrolet.
Truex is doing what Truex does. Started on a pole. They got a good race car. I don't know if they got a car that's good enough to win this race tonight, but he's got a top 5 car. And that's a great car to have, but he would sure like to win one on the short track, wouldn't he, Vince?
Well, you got that right, DW. 0 for 74. They've made no bones about the fact that they want to win here. They've been good here in the past. In fact, back in September, led 198 laps, but didn't have much to show for it. He's right now struggling with the car just too tight through the center and too loose off.
Everyone paid attention to Brian Patty and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in stage 1. We just saw Jamie McMurray in the 1. We saw Michael McDowell in the 34. Casey Kane in the 95. Just hit pit road under green here with about 43 laps to go in stage 2.
And there, I got to tell you, if you got no other, you got no choice. You're not very good. do something different than everybody else does, and this is different.
The one thing that's different this time is a few followers are coming with them.
Yeah, Jamie McMurray was 17th, about to go a lap down when he pitted. Trevor Bayne is in the pits now. Matt.
The first run, the 41 of Kurt Busch, was free that entire run. A small air pressure change. He also adjusted with the brake bias, but he says this run, the car is much looser. I just looked at the track temperature. The race started at 81. It's currently 70 degrees, coming down.
41 laps to go in stage 2. And 18 drivers still on the lead lap, all chasing Kurt Busch in the 41.
And Mike, I just say do the math. Figure it out. We're going to lose it. We're losing this much time now. If we pit, do whatever we're going to do, we're going to lose this much time. How much of it can we gain back? So you do the math.
As long as you factor in what happens if the caution comes out. That's all great until that happens.
Regan?
Guys, I had a number of crew chiefs earlier today tell me that they might make the last stage a two-stop strategy instead of one-stop. Nobody talked about making these these first two stages a two-stop strategy. So this is something that I didn't expect, but the crew chiefs were thinking about for later in the race instead.
Yeah, Regan, I think the reason is this has just got that green flag look to it. We ran 100 laps, no cautions. We're at 60 laps here, no cautions. It's just got that look to it.
Yeah, but you're riding with Jamie McMurray. He's a rocket on new tires. He's about to race his way past the leader up there, 2 cars ahead.
Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Racing Toyota Owners 400, sponsored by Monster Energy, official sponsor of NASCAR, and by Toyota. Let's go places.
32 to go in stage 2. You're watching our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. There's your leaders to the left. We've got a battle for the lead. Everything Goodyear learns making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, official tire of NASCAR, as Clint Bowyer takes the lead from his Stewart-Haas teammate, Kurt Busch.
I think if you ask the crew chiefs or most of the drivers, they tell you, Clint Bowyer just has a knack for taking care of his car. Taking care of the tires, getting a little bit more out of them than some of the other guys do. I don't know if it's dirt track experience. I'm not sure what it is, but he does do that.
I think he heard us talking about who's the best on the short tracks, and he wasn't on the list. He won at Martinsville. Now he just took the lead here at Richmond.
Vince?
You know, it's interesting. They were not great in practice. There weren't many other teams talking about, hey, better keep an eye on the 14. They didn't qualify that well. They just flat out missed it. But they had confidence coming in because their race package has been pretty good here. Last September, even though they didn't get a good result, they really felt good about their race car. So they didn't vary too far from that coming into this race here today. So they had some optimism coming in, and it's showing.
Boyer's the 4th different driver to lead this race. Pole sitter Martin Truex the first 38 laps, then Joey Logano, then Busch, and now Bowyer.
Tell you one thing, Kurt Busch isn't giving up. He's coming right back on Clint Bowyer here, looking underneath.
3 wide.
Putting a pretty hard charge on.
Giving us a show between teammates. I like it.
And we listened in on Kurt Busch.
Most of them are doing that. A lot of most of them are 2 laps down now. You know, with new tires, they're coming so fast. Pretty good for the 17 last time he unlapped himself, I guess. Yeah, but, I mean, he didn't end up any better off, but he was in a bad spot for 40 laps.
Crew chief Billy Scott and former driver and spotter Tony Raines trying to work out the strategy of watching out for those flyboys coming with fresh tires.
And you know what Kurt Busch is saying, Mike? Now look here, boy, you've won a race. But I know it's been a while, but how about letting me, how about maybe it's my turn?
But I like what I heard out of Billy Scott. Talking about that pit strategy, it's just extremely risky. It's not that it can't work. It's just really risky.
Well, here comes Trevor Bayne on Kurt Busch. He's got fresh tires in the number 6.
Making it fun for us to watch, though. Making it a little difficult on these guys up here battling for the lead, though.
Well, now, be careful here.
Bayne 3 laps down is going to get one of those back from Bowyer right here in turn 3. Or
maybe.
I wouldn't guarantee that.
I mean, that's the difference right there I see is when Stenhouse got his tires, he was flying by race cars and just passed them left and right. Bain really struggled just to get back one of those laps.
But you know what that did is slowed the 14 down, and the 41's right there. But here comes that 22 car. Logano, he's raced his way back into the picture.
And don't look much further back than that, but the fastest car on the track the last time by, Aric Almirola.
And he's raced his way back to the front, and we saw what he did at the end of the last stage really fast.
4 Fords out front. Kyle Busch's Toyota 5th. William Byron's Camaro 6th.
I really thought when Kyle Busch went up into what was it, second or third position, he was going to start marching up to that lead, but he just doesn't have the long run speed that some of those Fords do.
But Larry, how many times do we say the night time is the right time, and we're not yet ready for the third act of this play?
At this next trip to pit road, even if it's at the end of stage 2, I think that's where adjustments are going to be critical. This race now, this track is going through a pretty major transition.
Yeah, Larry, I think you got to give up a little bit on the pit stop to get your car right.
Oh, this battle's heating up.
Man, that's 1, 2, 3 right there.
About to be another of my favorite short track scenarios. 3 cars under a blanket for the lead.
I love it. See those brake rotors on both those cars about the same. Look like they're using a pretty similar amount of brake.
$20 laps to go in stage 2 as we take you side by side.
Some things should never change, like the crisp, cold refreshment of Busch. But some things should, like John's lack of awareness.
Main menu.
To hear the options again, press 4.
Main menu.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that. To make a payment,
Representative.
press 2. To hear the options
Representative.
again. Sorry, I didn't quite get that. Let's
Speak to a representative.
What are the last
Just give me the phone.
digits of your
Representative.
Time and a place.
One part steak, 1 part ribs, 2 parts incredible. New steak and ribs at Outback, $15.99 for a limited time. Get a 6-ounce sirloin and make it your own with a choice of honey sriracha, barbecue or dry rub ribs. So hurry into Outback now.
What goes around comes around. And as a sport that races in laps, we know that a clean race pays off in the finish. It's why NASCAR commits to green programs and biofuel, like Sunoco Green E15, so we can offset our carbon emissions. We're not going to stop making a difference, and neither should you. Learn how you can help by visiting NASCAR.com/green today.
No one agrees on the best. Everyone agrees on the 2 best. One's a miracle of human genetics. One's a god. One controls the game. One finishes it. They play each other every year. And we still can't decide. King Kong versus Godzilla. Does it matter who wins? Explosion of the exceptional.
More and more people are finding themselves in a Chevrolet for the first time. Trying something new can be exciting, empowering, downright exhilarating. See for yourself why Chevrolet is the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall.
Switch into a new Chevy now. Current competitive owners can get $5,000 below MSRP on this 2018 Equinox when you finance with GM Financial. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
This next song is all about my $20 fill-up. 8 pieces of Kentucky Fried Chicken, all the fixings, and it'll feed your family of 4. Hit it, boys. A 1 and a 2, and we're out of time. It's finger-licking good. Woo!
Welcome back to the Toyota Owners 400. 14 laps to go in stage 2. We're to the inside of Alex Bowman.
Yeah, we're really seeing this little nudge from, big hit from the 22 to the back bumper of the 88. But we're really seeing where the 88 and the 48 those two Hendrick cars are really struggling, while the other two, Byron and Chase Elliott, are having a pretty good night.
Boy, I tell you, just think about Bristol last week. 88 car, top 5, 48 car, third. I mean, those cars ran great last week. Tonight, they're not even on the map.
No, the other end of the Hendrick complex so far having a great night. And what a battle for second here. Logano and Kurt Busch fighting it out, and they're just a couple of car lengths behind Clint Bowyer.
Mike, we're only 11 laps from the end of this stage. Another 100 laps without any caution whatsoever. I mean, we're halfway home in this race already.
One thing's pretty evident to me, that 22 of Joey Logano, he wants this stage 2 win. He's pushing hard.
And that car will stick anywhere he wants to put it. Go low, go high, doesn't matter. Logano wants the win for stage 2, 10 laps away.
Yeah, Bowyer, when he took the lead, he really wasn't able to check out from the 41, his teammate Kurt Busch. And he's just kind of hovered right there. He's got the lead, but now that 22 is definitely in his tracks.
I tell you, again, it's going to be amazing. You look back here at the one car, McMurray, he's closing on these guys a second a lap. I don't know if he's going to make it or not. It's going to be close.
First time Bowyer's led here since 2013, Vince.
Well, and his spotter, Brett Griffin, keeping him abreast of what Joey Logano's doing. And Griffin just told Bowyer, Logano is getting in better and gaining on you there, but you're pulling him on exit. So it's a little bit of give and take as we battle for the lead here between Bowyer and Logano.
Mike Bugaravich on the horn to his driver.
Mike, what's that you were saying about a blanket?
And how many cars are under it?
Your blanket just got a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Well, there's the pass for the lead.
Yeah, Logano's looking under Bowyer here. He's going to make that pass going down in turn 1. But I'll just tell you, look who's caught this group.
Eric Almirola.
Eric Almirola, but look a little further back. Jamie McMurray, short pitted. And here he is. He's going to get back on the lead lap before the stage ends.
Yeah, to do it, he's got to bust through all that traffic, and he's got to pass Joey Logano.
And he's got these leaders who are battling for position.
Wow.
Trying to get these stage points.
He's got 6 laps to do it, and he's been closing about a second a lap.
McMurray edges ahead of Kurt Busch coming off turn 2.
Oh,
made a stop. Tires.
That is tight down that back straight off turn 2.
Five to go in stage 2. The 22 leading. The 1 is in position to get the free pass. So mission accomplished there for Jamie McMurray.
If he can just hang on right there, he's going to get Bowyer. I don't think he can get to Logano with only 4 laps to go.
I think you'd be surprised how much those pressure tires really gained in these last 5 laps.
He's a second quicker. 1 second quicker. I've been watching the clock.
I think somebody overwhelmed the clock tonight. This race is flying by.
And we talked about the Hendrick cars and how they're split up. Normally, we don't see Kevin Harvick being the Stewart-Haas car who's trailing in the 4th best car, but right now Harvick's just fighting to stay in that top 10.
Remember, Harvick restarted 18th after that wrench toss on the pit stop. He's worked his way back to the top 10. 3rd place, Almirola around the outside of his teammate, and 8th place, Keselowski in the 2 against Truex. 2 to go, stage 2.
McMurray got him.
Wow. Nicely done.
Nicely done, I'm telling you. It's got to open some guys' eyes. They got to be thinking about what that 17, now the 1 is done.
You know, motivating factor. Rick Hendrick is here tonight. William Byron's having a great run. Rick hasn't been to all the races in the cold weather this spring. Felix Sabata's feeling better. He's Chip Ganassi's minority partner along with Rob Kaufman. Great to see Felix back at the racetrack. And here's Jamie Mack trying to put on a show for him.
Saw Felix. Said he felt really good. Good to be back at the track. It's good to see him, man. Didn't see him for a while.
Sure was.
Joey Logano is your Stage 2 winner. From Clint Boyer, Eric Almirola, Kurt Busch, and William Byron. The top 5. Kevin Harvick picks up the final point in Stage 2. Same song, second verse. Joey wins the stage.
Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Racing Toyota Owners 400 is sponsored by Coca-Cola, the official fan refreshment of NASCAR.
Well, at halfway tonight, let's see how the Coca-Cola family of drivers are faring, with Joey Logano the leader, Ryan Newman, Denny Hamlin, Daniel Suarez in the top dozen, Austin Dillon, Kyle Larson still on the lead lap, and Bubba Wallace 1 lap down. Pit road will be open this time by.
He's ready.
Well, they haven't had a lot to do tonight. This will only be the second pit stop of the night.
Look at that lug nut they all have stuck on the helmet there in case they need it. That's pretty cool.
I like the signboards they use for these night races. Very, very clever with a lot of LEDs.
Yeah.
Well, not that side, the other side, where it's all lit up with the with the numbers. That side. Thank you.
I tell you what, I appreciate that a lot later in my career.
Regan.
Eric Almirola hits his pit box. He was looser in and off this run. He and his crew chief, Johnny Klossmeyer, think it was the racetrack that was freeing up. They're going to do a small air pressure adjustment on the right side, as well as a right rear air adjustment. Matt?
And Dwayne Moore's already made the chassis adjustment on the 41. He was fighting free. The car was good from lap 15 to 60, Vince, and then it faded.
Clint Boyer pitting from second. The car's just too loose. Air pressure adjustment and a chassis adjustment for the 22 of Joey Logano, your leader. Freer in and freer off this run. Wedge adjustment and 4 tires for Logano as well.
And you see Logano will win the race off pit road from that first pit stall. Kurt Busch picks up 2 spots. Takes 1 from Boyer, 1 from Almirola. There's the race off pit road.
What do you think? Let's talk to Joey Logano, stage winner. Hey, Joey Logano at CW, you got me there, buddy?
I got you, Daryl.
Hey, man, pretty good night to be driving one of those blue ovals, but you have got your hands full of those Stewart-Haas cars. Can you hold them off?
On the long run, apparently, yes. Got to work on a short run speed a little bit. The 41, 18, pretty much all the cars that passed me at the beginning of that run were pretty good, but able to stay common here and eventually start working it back and be able to have some fun racing there towards the end of the stage there. It's fun working through traffic and trying to find drive. You're driving with no rear grip or not even wide open down the straightaway at the end of this thing, so it's pretty crazy.
Well, good luck, buddy. This is a fun race to watch between you guys, so good luck to you.
All right, thanks. Yeah, we're having a good time.
Joey Logano is your leader at the end of stage number 2. We're halfway in Richmond. Joey Logano, the leader for Team Penske. Now, 3-time series champ Tony Stewart is the Stewart in Stewart-Haas. The owners of the 2nd and 3rd place cars, the 41 of Kurt Busch and the 14 of Clint Boyer. Tony Stewart has some words of wisdom for Boyer's spotter.
Hey, listen, Brett, you guys have got to keep his pace under control here when he's racing these guys. I mean, it's him and the 41 both weren't racing each other, and that's why the 22 got by. I don't know how long you guys think a long run's going to go, but if it's going to be equal to what we just did here, you find out when the 22 and the 10 kind of got rolling there, because they didn't run the pace these guys ran at the front.
Well, certainly they know what the adjustments or the setup of the 10 car is, and they can kind of look at his pace at the beginning of the run. But you know, to me, listening to Joey Logano, he just feels like his car's just not as good at the beginning, so he has to run a little bit slower pace. His car just seems to work better on the longer run.
We had some penalties. Too fast entering the pits, William Byron and Alex Bowman, while an uncontrolled tire, let's see, yeah, that one right there, will send Ryan Newman to the back for the restart.
It met up to the guy eventually.
Yeah.
It just was sort of idling on its own for a little bit, and that's something NASCAR's really cracking down on.
Yep, needs to stay within arm's reach. 2018 Toyota Camry XSE will make the sharp left turn here in turn 4, and the field will approach the Geico restart zone.
One thing Joey Logano's doing a little bit different this time, choosing that outside lane. Boy, that didn't work.
Not going to do that. Doesn't do that again. I was warned about that.
Kurt Busch back to the lead.
Calamity Corners heating up. Look like a bunch of spaghetti going into turn 3 over there.
Can honestly say I've never heard it described like that, but that's kind of right. It's all over the place.
Spaghetti Junction.
Oh yeah.
All those different colors, they look like they're all wadded together going into turn 3.
See what Kyle Busch can do here. He's up to 4th.
Well, and I think he also has a car that's really good in the first 30, 40 laps. It seems to fade on the longer runs. So I think you'll see him push here. Maybe they've made some adjustments, and that car will hang in there a little bit more in the long run. But I expect him to maybe get 1, maybe 2 more positions here.
Brad Keselowski in the 2. I think 6th place here is the highest he's been all night.
But boy, just think how he struggled early in this race. I mean, we thought there was something wrong with the car. They've obviously made it much better. Here he is running 6th or 7th. Nice recovery for that team.
10th place, Kyle Larson in the 42 against Kevin Harvick.
And Mike, a little bit back to that Tony Stewart soundbite. When you're the crew chief and you're down there, you're focused on the car. When you got a Tony Stewart that can stand there and look at the big picture, I think he can help you with your strategy and what the drivers need to be aware of.
And if I'm not mistaken, Tony Stewart won his first Cup race here at Richmond, so I think he knows something about getting around this place.
You can see the right rear of Austin Dillon, that right rear quarter, he's been in the wall. Running in 13th.
Oh, that was lightly, slightly.
Yeah, very politely.
And politely.
And here's another trend. Aric Almirola doesn't have that speed at the beginning of the run. He'll lose some positions, but boy, he's fun to watch after about 30 laps. Remember, let's wait for that 30-lap mark of this run. Then see him come back forward.
Larry, we've never had a caution-free race here. In fact, only one time was a race run here with only 1 caution for any kind of contact. How long can we go green?
Yeah, and that's what I'm over here doing is crunching some numbers. You know, fuel-wise, we can easily make it on 1 more stop. But I would not be a bit surprised based on what we've seen. Instead of splitting this last run in half, if they split it in thirds. I think maybe somewhere around 125 to go. And then again at 60 to 65 to go, you'll see green flag stops should we not get the caution.
180 laps to go in Richmond. Kurt Busch 1 second up on Joey Logano. Clint Bowyer, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex, the top 5. Watching the 6th place battle on the left of your screen, 14th place. Dillon and Suarez on the right.
Yeah, Mike, it's been pretty simple tonight. Save your tires.
How about a quick word from Duracell?
This is the #1 trusted brand.
Let's talk about the 22 team from Team Penske, Joey Logano and Todd Gordon. This is their 6th season together, and together they've won 16 races including the 2015 Daytona 500 and the 2016 All-Star race. They've made the championship 2 out of 4 years, finishing second in the points to the 48 in 2016. And Vince, this one hurts. Todd Gordon graduated from Clemson University.
I know you don't want to give him any love for that, Larry. Right now, Logano, it was interesting. He and Todd Gordon had a long discussion before that restart after winning stage 2 as to which lane to choose on the restart. Logano chose the top lane, quickly gave up the lead, and now the car has fired off 2 free. He's already gone down 2.5 on the track bar. He's about to fall into the clutches of Clint Bowyer for third.
Second, third, fourth, right close together. Kyle Busch there as well. Todd Gordon on your right as Joey Logano tries to hold on to second place behind the 41 of Kurt Busch, who is up by 1.5 seconds. All right.
NASCAR on Fox, under the lights, 32 laps away from lap 200, and we've already been through 2 stages. It's been Joey Logano's race, but right now, Kurt Busch, your leader. It's a Monster Energy race break with Michael Waltrip, Chris Myers trackside. Let's get your thoughts first on Kurt Busch. When he won this race 3 years ago, he was going through a tough time. It was a very important, very pivotal win for him in his career, and obviously he's settled in now with Stewart-Haas.
Yeah, and I'm going to watch that left rear fender there and that tire. It's been scrubbed upon. I hope it's not a slow leak there because a really fast car. I like what he's doing right now. Joey Logano, I'm going to be interested also watching him, Chris, and Eric Almirola. We've talked about he doesn't fire off fast right off the bat. Maybe he doesn't do that on purpose. As these laps wind down, when he has to go on the initial get-go, you might see some speed.
Yeah, and Jimmy Johnson, who started 17th, he had some issues, really had, and just till recently, kind of hanging around. I mean, it's been a while since we've been, 9 races into a season, and Hendrick Motorsports hasn't had a win by now.
Yeah, and he struggled mightily at the start of this race, but he's raced his way into the 20th position. He's currently in the free pass place, and see if he can get some speed out of that car. I'm seeing better running speed right now. Can he become a factor? He's got some work to do. Kyle Larson, on the other hand, is a guy we picked early in the race to be one of the guys we thought could win this baby. Not a lot of speed out of the 42 so far.
Yeah, and for Kyle Larson, interesting, his last win was here in this race, just like Joey Logano. His last win was here. Kevin Harvick had the pit road penalty with the wrench being thrown in an area of one of his moments, and right now battling in, for 7th spot with Eric Almirola. Keselowski right in front of him.
Yeah, and I talked about maybe Eric taking it easy on the initial get-go to take care of those tires. Kevin's the opposite. He's had to march after that pit road speeding penalty, and that car's really coming to life. He and Brad, they could become factors as well. It's the Toyota Owners 400. What are all these Fords doing? Well, they're dominating so far.
The Toyota pole sitter, right, our defending champ in the Monster Energy Cup for last year, and he's hoping to be back and getting his 2nd win, back up to 4th. Martin Truex Jr. What happened from the start of the race to where he slipped back a little bit? He was running 8th much of the first 2 stages.
Well, like we talked with Joey before the race started, this track went through some major changes, and I was interested to see if guys that fell back early could rebound late, and Martin Truex is really the only guy that's shown to have the speed now, and he didn't have it earlier. This could be really playing into their hands as we race toward the checkered flag tonight.
Yeah, and right now the 4th and 5th place drivers, Logano, Kyle Busch, of the 8 races so far, they both had 7 top 10s, the most of any drivers. Of course, Kyle has a win and back-to-back wins, going for his 3rd straight win, whereas Logano is trying to get his 1st win in a year. That's your Monster Energy race break. Let's rejoin Daryl, Jeff, and Mike.
Thanks, Chris. 161 laps to go as we watch Joey Logano's mirror fill up with Kyle Busch. And behind Kyle, Brad Keselowski closing in. Behind Brad, Kevin Harvick. And then this battle for 8th place. Fourth on your right, 8th on your left. Positions, that is.
We just haven't seen Almirola have that speed at lap 30. Of course, I think Denny Hamlin's gotten a little bit better on this run and put some pressure on Almirola, but typically lap 30, lap 33 or 4, we see that 10 car really march to the front. I don't know about that this run, Regan.
Well, Jeff, I think they're getting a little bit behind on the racetrack right now. His car keeps getting looser in and looser off of the corners. His last words were, "It's terrible right now." I don't know if we're going to see that charge that he makes around lap 30 or 40 this time.
Guys, I talked about that last stop being so critical because I felt like the track had went through a huge transition. It just appears to me that, like Regan talked about the Eric Almirola in the 10, I see kind of the same thing with Joey Logano in the 22. They've gotten a little behind.
Hey, don't you think it's into the evening now? Track temps are probably down a little bit. Probably need to make some adjustments to your car. If it was good early on, need to make some changes to be good at the end.
Well, look like they're getting looser.
That's what it looks like.
The adjustments.
Everybody looks loose.
Watching the 2 of Brad Keselowski run a very calculating race. He caught the car ahead and then let Harvick by. 150 laps to go in Richmond. Everybody chasing Kurt Busch. Time to take a look at tonight's Credit One Bank ones to watch.
Well, the last time they raced at night here at Richmond, last September, Martin Truex Jr. was in position to win that race until late caution spoiled all that. Nobody out there is better at keeping up with the racetrack and adjustments than Cole Pearn and Martin Truex Jr. I think they get their first short track win together here tonight.
Jeff, Kyle Busch has won 4 times here at Richmond, but it's been 6 years. Started in 32nd position. I think now the nighttime is the right time for that 18 to get 3 in a row.
Let me tell you, the guy that won Martinsville is going to win Richmond. Clint Boyer in that 14 car. Take it to the bank.
Darrell, I'd say you're wrong this time. Kevin Harvick, who had a speeding penalty, a pit road penalty on lap 105 for chunking equipment. He fell outside the top 20, worked his way slowly in the top 10, but now that we're getting in the later stages of this race, he's coming alive. He's starting to light this track up. He's into the top 5. Kevin Harvick goes to victory lane.
Michael, this track has plenty of lights without Kevin Harvick. Now, Kurt Busch, who just lost the lead to Clint Boyer, has 9 short track wins in the Cup Series, the most recent of which came here in 2015. That's our Credit One Bank ones to watch. There's a look at that pass for the lead as Clint Boyer went steaming around the outside of his teammate. Now, remember Tony Stewart's admonishment to these 2 not to race each other too hard.
Well, I just don't know if that message got relayed to the 41 of Kurt Busch. We heard him talking to the spotter of the 14 car, but I think the 14 paced himself. The 41 took off on that last restart.
And by the way, guys, I took the 14 long before he took the lead.
Hey, I'll give you credit.
What do you want, bonus points?
You've been picking them well this weekend. You picked our pole sitter.
All right, Martin Truex to 3rd, and we listened in.
Only car here a little bit better is the 4 he's running up. Kind of that second, right where that first race size on that first seam and 1 is 2. Well, either splendid or above it, well, just kind of right at it. Maybe he's just below.
Little intel on where everybody's running.
And that's so helpful. As a driver, that's the kind of information you need to help you pace yourself. Where are other people running? What are other people doing? It takes a lot of pressure off the driver.
4th place. Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch with 144 laps to go. Clint Boyer, the new leader, pulling away 1.3 seconds ahead of teammate Kurt Busch. 136 laps to go in this Monster Energy Cup Series race, with Clint Boyer leading by 1.9 seconds, and the new 2nd place car, Martin Truex. Kurt Busch trying to hold off Kevin Harvick for 3rd. Matt.
He's been the goer. Kurt Busch fading now back to the 4th position, dealing with his teammate. The chassis adjustment they made has not helped. The car has transitioned now from being free on the previous run to now is too tight on entry, especially across the center.
Vince, how about his teammate, Clint Boyer?
Well, they've been keeping an eye, Boyer's camp has, on his teammate Kevin Harvick. They just told Boyer that Harvick's been running a car width off the bottom on both ends, and it has made him fast. So Boyer has certainly taken note of that, but they just relayed to Boyer, you're 0.2 faster than everybody else. We don't need to be that fast. We got to take care of it. Back it down a tick, and he has.
Let's go back to 7th place. Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin.
There's nothing any sweeter than a driver in front of tell you slow down a little bit.
Now, back in the pack, things have not been as nice up front. This is Ryan Blaney.
Bam.
Into Alex Bowman. Paint and pieces begin to fly.
Unfortunately, Alex Bowman, that's not the first time he's gotten a little contact from somebody running into his rear bumper.
Now Bowman is 2 laps down in 25th. Blaney 1 lap down in 19th.
Bowman's just not having, he's just having a bad night.
Bubba Wallace on pit road in 23rd. Larry, does this start the cycle?
Totally makes sense, Mike. Again, as I said, we went back racing with 188 laps to go. If you break that down into roughly 60 to 65 lap runs over the next 10 laps, that would be the window to break it into thirds.
Well, we'll see how that works out for him.
And Larry, I liked what we talked about earlier. If you're going to do that strategy, you can't make any mistakes. You got to be flawless on pit road.
And you have to be committed to it.
There's that Kyle Larson coming to pit road.
42 pit road, yep.
From Larson pitting out of 11th place.
Yeah.
And his teammate Jamie McMurray coming in as well, and so is Ryan Blaney. Matt.
Balance just hasn't been there much tonight. When he had that penalty, having to go back almost to 20th, it was very tough for the team to recover an air pressure adjustment here on the 42 short pitting, just like his teammate, the one of Jamie McMurray.
Allmendinger's in. Here comes Logano and Ricky Stenhouse.
The 19 of Suarez almost ran into the back of Ricky Stenhouse. Suarez had to make another lap. He couldn't get on pit road.
Ty Dillon in as well, and here comes Martin Truex to pit road. Vince.
Well, for Truex, he said he really liked that adjustment the last time. He said it helped the car turn a little bit better. As for the 22 of Logano, too loose off during this run. They're going to make a change, air pressure adjustment to help Logano. And there's Truex, and that's 78 coming to his box. We told you he liked the adjustment they made last time, helped him turn a little bit better, gave him some additional speed. The 9 of Chase Elliott in as well.
The leaders are in. Boyer on pit road. Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick.
Seems like all it took was the 78 of Truex, Matt.
And the 19 of Daniel Suarez had to back up to get out of his pit box. Now we've got an issue with the pit gun on the right side. They had to pull it back over, losing time to Vic.
No changes on the 14, just 4 fresh tires. He's been fast.
The 19 of Suarez yanked the air line of Kurt Busch's tire changer and the gun. That was a problem. Regan.
Kyle Busch on pit road. His race car is getting too tight, but the back is loose. He wants both rear tires, lower air pressure.
Almirola in. He's getting 4.
Mike, that was just a disaster for Suarez. He couldn't get on pit road. Stenhouse in his way, went around, had trouble in the pits. Wow, what a terrible sequence that was.
Stenhouse and Bubba Wallace, commitment line violation, entering pit road. Penalties coming. Denny Hamlin has assumed the lead, and now he comes to pit road along with Austin Dillon.
Yeah, you just can't stay out there. Hamlin stayed out there a little longer than some of the others. Tires are so valuable.
Paul Menard in as well. Matt?
Hasn't been the night, hasn't been the weekend for Denny Hamlin in the 11 car. As you mentioned, he hit pit road as everything is cycling through. He was just too tight at the 2/3 mark of the corner. Just haven't been able to hit that sweet spot, not only tonight, but all weekend with this setup.
David Reagan in. And here's the commitment line violation on Ricky Stenhouse. Alex Bowman pitting now. You have to have all 4 wheels below that orange box. And he locked up the tires and drove over the orange box with the right sides. Now watch the air hose yank and the air gun. And the 19 was speeding coming in for the second time, so he got a penalty.
It's a disastrous sequence of events for the 19 car.
Well, and DW noticed, and I noticed when we were on pit road, these cars are on the ground. So when they go by, they could just, they just pick things up, and that hose just happened to be there, and it just grabbed that hose and yanked it right out of that tire changer's hands.
So Martin Truex, who was 1.3 seconds behind Clint Boyer prior to pitting, pitted 1 lap earlier than Boyer and now has the lead. 115 laps to go in the Toyota Owners 400. Let's have a look at tonight's Toyota top performers. Martin Truex Jr., the leader by 2 seconds. Kyle Busch in 4th after starting 32nd. And Denny Hamlin in 11th. 15 cars on the lead lap. Make that 14 as Ryan Blaney is going to fall victim to Martin Truex's charge here.
Blaney's running in the 15th spot.
10th place here.
For 10th. There's a lot of battling going on all around the racetrack for positions. It's incredible what tires does to these cars. It just wakes them up for a little while.
Larry McReynolds has our winning decisions brought to you by McDonald's. $1, $2, $3 menu.
Well, Mike, I know we've only had 2 cautions for the 2 stage ends, but we still got a ways to go. And if you look at the last 10 Richmond Spring races, the average of the last caution is with 28 laps to go. And actually, in those 28 laps to go, in 3 times in those 10 races, which happened in the last 10 laps with 2 overtimes. Now, unlike last week, number of sets of tires, not a problem. We still have 6 sets of tires laid in the pits. Case point, these cautions start coming. 4 tires every time for that McDonald's winning decision.
Larry, I'm going to bet you before the night's over they use them all. I'll just tell you, the last 100 laps of this race gets crazy.
Business picks up, doesn't it, DW?
Yes, sir. Let's hey, Mike, you know what we haven't done all night?
We haven't cranked it up.
Well, let's crank it up.
Yeah.
Still there. Behind that 00 up here, we got to catch them. Still there. There, a little bit there. Clear, clear. Still out there. Still there. Clear. All right, 2 back to the 14.
On the right, that's Ryan Newman. He's trying to get his lap back from race leader Martin Truex in the 78. And what's all that side-by-side racing done? It's brought Clint Boyer right back to the bumper of the leader.
Yeah, and I think what Newman really did, I know he fought hard trying to stay on the lead lap, but I think when he saw Boyer had caught up with them, he knows that's a race for the lead. I think he may have let the 78 get clear.
Yeah, that cost him, what, 1.3 seconds? Anytime something like that happened with me, not necessarily with Newman, but with any lap car, you always said, man, if you had raced that hard the entire run, you might not be going a lap down.
I think, though, you have to I know Ryan Newman, I know you get aggravated. You get annoyed. Come on, man, give me a break. But he's trying to stay on the lead lap. Once he got lapped, I think it was, you know, here comes a 14. You can go ahead.
Well, and at least to his credit, he's working pretty hard, keeping the 14 behind him, too. So at least that's helping Truex get a little bit of that gap back.
Truex lost 1.3 seconds racing with Newman.
Jamie McMurray, the next car ahead, is now the last car on the lead lap in 13th place, the McDonald's car.
And Mike, I'm not throwing Newman under the bus, but last week the 42 was leading the race, and 42 cut down in front of Newman. They make a little contact. So Newman is a hard pass. Anytime you catch him, you know you got your work cut out for you.
Harvick right there in third. And Kyle Busch trying to equal Harvick's feat early in the season and win his third race in a row. Started 32nd tonight, has never won from this far back, and he's almost close enough to be in contention. 3.5 back.
One cat right there you just don't ever count out.
I was going to say, he's never out of contention.
Don't count him out. You'd be making a big mistake. But I think the guy that everybody's watching is the 4 car. The 4 car, I hear a lot of crews talking about he's running a different line. He's running a little bit, doing something a little bit different, and he is catching our front 2 leaders.
You know what I'm noticing? These long green flag runs, what do they normally enhance? A great team, great communication, great pit stops, the whole team effort. And what we're seeing, look at these veteran teams and driver combinations with Truex, Harvick, Busch, Logano, Keselowski, and Boyer up there in second.
And we're seeing the effect of strategy. Here's Kyle Larson in the 42. He was 11th when he pitted. He was the first of the leaders to pit at lap 270. He came out 5th and is still holding within a couple of positions of that, racing for 7th with Kurt Busch and Denny Hamlin.
Well, Mike, I think he's paying the price now for maybe pitting too soon.
Yeah, he needed a caution, right?
Yeah.
Larry, he would have liked to have really taken advantage of that track position he gained, maybe run about 15, 20, 30 laps, and then get that caution. That gives him his track position, have a good pit stop, maybe some adjustments, and he's right back in it.
We're inside 100 laps to go. 94 left. Under the lights in Richmond, short track Saturday night. Martin Truex Jr. out front.
My burger goes best with mustard.
Ketchup and mustard.
Grass-fed beef.
No, corn-fed.
On the grill.
Now, flat top.
Iceberg lettuce.
Nah, arugula. Jalapeno.
No way. Avocado, dude.
Medium rare. Gotta be well done. Brioche.
Sesame seed.
American cheese.
Cheddar.
Can I have a turkey burger? What? Turkeys are for Thanksgiving, man. I like my burger with the Coke.
I'll agree to that. Strictly with the Coke.
Only with the Coke.
Coke and a burger. Come on.
All right.
That's where you get the flavor.
1 part steak, 1 part ribs, 2 parts incredible. New steak and ribs at Outback, $15.99 for a limited time. Get a 6-ounce sirloin and make it your own with a choice of honey sriracha, barbecue or dry rub ribs. So hurry into Outback now.
When someone watches the news, they want someone they can trust. Our job is to cut through the talking points.
We're going to ask the tough questions because there's a lot of conventional wisdom out there that needs to be challenged.
What I'm doing is making sure that whatever is developed through the day, people are fully informed from coast to coast.
We're 24/7 news, but we're really down to the minute.
We're going to be fearless. We're going to be fair.
Whether it's 4 a.m. or midnight, we're there.
No, pick up.
Your time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my
can't see me, my time is now.
The 2018 Camry. Toyota. Let's go places.
This next song is all about my $20 fill-up. 8 pieces of Kentucky Fried Chicken, all the fixings, and it'll feed your family of 4. Hit it, boys. A 1 and a 2, and we're out of time. It's finger licking good. Woo!
Bring any kid under 12 to any NASCAR Xfinity Series or NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race and they get in free. Visit NASCAR.com/KidsTix to learn more.
Next week, for the first time ever, the NFL Draft is live on Fox. Troy Aikman and Joel Klatt will be in Dallas with all the big picks Thursday and Friday. Live on Fox and the NFL Network, and drafting continues all weekend long at Talladega Superspeedway.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, baby. It's going to be a fun
style.
race.
That'll be a draft.
Pack racing.
Remember how wild that race was in Daytona? Can't wait for next week.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice one.
Truex with a half-second lead over the Fords of Harvick and Boyer. Then Kyle Busch's Toyota. Brad Keselowski has moved up into the top 5. Yes, 12 seconds back of the lead, but this is the highest Keselowski's been.
Yeah,
nice recovery.
We talked about Keselowski earlier. We thought he was dog meat. I mean, he wasn't running worth a flip, and now look at him. Here he is. So the sun goes down, the track cools down, and
he's
there he
a
is.
Perfect case of I don't care how fast you are or how slow you are in lap 50. Tell me about lap 350. Lance Martin Truex's lead is dwindling.
Well, and you guys noted the battle with Ryan Newman. Newman was a lap car, and it cost Truex 1.3 seconds of his lead. Well, it also cost him his rear tires. Truex said, that battle with Newman really hurt my rear tires. I'm not near as good now as I was before.
Yeah, even if it didn't wear them out, it heated them up. And once you get more heat in those rear tires, it almost never recovers.
Yeah, and you're just trying so hard to, you jump back in the throttle trying to get that advantage on Newman there, and it just really, like you said, it overworks the rear tires, and now he's paying the price.
Well, here comes Harvick in the 4. We know him as the closer. Car in the wall, turn 1. That was Ricky Stenhouse.
I think he just got up there. I don't know if he hit it or not. Yeah, he got some damage. Definitely got some big damage there.
And tire down, maybe?
No, I think he just got up the hill.
Like
no debris, no caution.
I think he was wiggling it, trying to get those fenders clearance on the straightaway.
Just went too deep into turn 1. The car slid up the hill and got against the wall.
Yeah, I don't see any smoke from any tire rub, so he might get away with it.
Stenhouse was and is 16th. Now back to Harvick. Before this stage started, he and his team talked about coming from behind.
Good, coming from the back. Yeah, 10-4. About what, 3-4 weeks in a row?
He's had some practice at it. He was getting good at it, I can tell you that.
But Rodney Childers is so great, just calm and cool. What do you think, Larry?
You know, we've had 4 uncontrolled tires. We've had pit road speeding. We've had commitment cone violations. Kevin Harvick had to throw in equipment. He's the only driver right now in the top 10 with 80 to go that has recovered to get to the top 10 after a penalty.
I just think it speaks volumes to how good those Stewart-Haas cars are. The 4's running 2nd, 14 running 3rd, 41 running 8th. I mean, those all, and Amarola running 9th. They're all right there in the top 10.
Yeah, Matt, what's happened to Kurt Busch?
We documented with the video of his tire changer what took place on that stop with the gun being ripped out of his hands when Suarez left. Now, he had just finished talking to Ken Bratt from Ortho Carolina Sports, looking at his hand. He has an injury. It's called gamekeeper's thumb injury. It's basically a ligament that is strained on that right thumb. You can see it with his hand. It definitely is a stinger. All looks good, though. He's been icing it up since that stop. He's ready for the next stop when that 41 hits pit road.
Thanks, Matt. Here we go again. 3 cars under the blanket. Short track Saturday night for the lead.
And you can just see the 78 of Martin Truex Jr. just losing that drive off the corner. Those rear tires are definitely taking a toll now on him as the 4 car moves to the outside. And here comes the 14, who's been so good on long runs.
The 14 is loving this because the 78 and the 4 are going to battle a little bit here, and that's going to allow Clinton to close right back up on these guys. Going to have a heck of a battle for the lead coming off turn 4. Just wait and see where the start and finish line was.
It doesn't get any closer than this. This is great.
Yeah, and once he gets that outside lane, that's all the momentum's going to go to the 4-car of Harvick and the 14 of Bowyer. Boy, we saw the 78 really step out.
Good thing he stayed low. Ryan Blaney may have brushed the wall in turn 2. Comes a little slow off that corner.
But Mike, that's what you want, a veteran driver. Hold your line, don't move around, and I'll pick my way by.
Let's take another look at that. That'll be our 5-hour energy big move of the race. Forward to the high side, and Bowyer squeezing up to the outside to take second.
Mike, something I've noticed on all the cars, they didn't start the race this way, but everybody's left rear tire has got the lettering rubbed off of it, which tells me they've made some huge air pressure adjustments.
Oh. Martin Truex falls to third. Here's his radio. So, Larry, when will that stop come?
Well, what I see right now, remember, everyone pitted around lap 270 to 275. If you go an additional 60 laps, that's going to be somewhere around 65 to 70 to go. That's going to be a critical time when you hit pit road, and you can't have a mistake.
Hey, Larry, I wonder what Tony Stewart is telling Clint Bowyer and Kevin Harvick right now, racing each other here for the lead.
This is when the car owner doesn't say anything.
Better back out of this fight. I think Bowyer's a little bit better than Harvick the way it's looking.
Bowyer to the inside for the lead.
I think you brought up a really good point, DW, about that left rear sidewall being real low on air pressure coming down as this race has gone on and getting more rear grip. I wouldn't be surprised if you see that same thing happen to the left rear of the 78.
Kurt Busch and Almirola are on pit road. Ryan Blaney's back in. They had an uncontrolled tire on his stop. And Austin Dillon is in, and Suarez as well. Matt.
And Coleman Dollar had a new impact gun. They were swapped out due to that issue with it being pulled out of his hands right where the fitting was. An air pressure adjustment on the 41. Let's go to Regan with his teammate.
Almirola hits pit road. He gets 4 tires of fuel. He wanted to go back on all of his previous changes. He's way too tight in the middle and loose off.
Here they all come. Logano, Jimmy Johnson, Chase Elliott, Eric Jones are in. Now Ryan Newman.
The first one of our leaders there, the 22, Vince.
Joey Logano has spent so much of this night out front, but the car has gone away from him here over the last couple of runs. Losing grip, just no turn off. That's the major complaint right now for the 22 of Logano. Chassis adjustment and 4 tires for Joey.
Keselowski, William Byron, Ty Dillon in. The 42 tried to get to pit road, but couldn't. There was such a log jam of traffic. Regan.
Brad Keselowski hits pit road. He needs more short run speed out of his race car. They gave him 4 tires fuel and an air pressure adjustment.
Clint Bowyer, the leader, from Kevin Harvick, his teammate, and they are both pitting right now. Truex is in. Vince.
Well, you heard the radio from Truex just a bit ago where he said he'd burn off those rear tires. And Cole Pearn, his crew chief, said, we just haven't had a long-run car all night. Air pressure adjustment and 4 tires for the 78. Matt.
Great opportunity for these athletes to shine. Kevin Harvick's guys, Eric Maycroft and Daniel Smith, the changer, going to work. Harvick said the balance is okay. I just can't get up off the corners. Jack goes up, Vince.
Make a mistake on pit road now. Clint Bowyer, no changes, just 4 tires for the 14 and a good stop.
Good stop for Kyle Busch as well. Kyle Larson finishing up. He pulls away. And now everybody but Denny Hamlin and Ricky Stenhouse of the lead lap cars have been to pit road.
It's getting crazy, Mike. I just feel that the intensity is picking up. I feel it.
Hamlin cannot pit. There's a car to his inside, David Reagan. He'll have to make at least another lap. Now, just prior to the pit stop, watch Kyle Larson just in front of the leaders.
Big wiggle. Trying to get to pit road, misses it.
Couldn't do it.
He was just on the brakes hard, and the back tires were losing grip, maybe even wheel hopping a little bit, getting into turn 3.
Alex Bowman in, and here comes the leader. Hamlin locks the brakes up coming to pit road. Just like the last cycle, he is one of the last to pit.
Mike, there's a change in the attitude of all these drivers. Their body language has changed. All of a sudden, I see guys taking a little more chances, pushing a little bit harder, sticking it in holes that they weren't sticking in earlier. This is going to get good before it's over with.
Back.
Sean Kerwin takes a tear off Hamlin's windshield, give him better vision. The car just fires off way too free, but it comes in nicely near the end.
Hamlin was, or excuse me, Truex was 1.8 seconds back in third. He pitted one lap before Bowyer and Harvick, and he has the lead.
I don't know how long that's going to last, though, because that Bowyer is on his back bumper, and I think that 14 car is pretty good, guys.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to have one less lap or one more lap on my tires if I'm Mark Truex Jr. than the 14. I want about 10 laps less on my tires to go battle with him on the long road.
Yeah, I think the 14's racing two people. He's racing 78 trying to get the lead. He also is racing the 4 car right behind him trying to stay ahead of him. That's going to be the battle, I think, between the 14 and the 4.
And did the 78 of Mark Truex Jr. Cole Pearn make the right adjustments, air pressure wise, and any other adjustments to maybe help that 78 car on these long runs?
Well, yeah, but you heard him say we haven't had a good long run car all night. We really don't have that far to go. We're down to what, 60 laps to go here? 63 to go. Sorry about that.
You got to wonder what Ricky Stenhouse and his team are thinking. The first 2 stages, Larry, Stenhouse short pitted, short pitted, and that set the stage for stage 2. Now this time in stage 3, they've got him out on a long run, and Stenhouse is riding it out when everybody else has been to pit road.
Yeah, he's just losing so much ground. Again, I know I questioned it when they did it in stage 1. I highly question what they're doing here right now. I know they're probably going to try to ride it out to try to stay on the lead lap, hopefully catch the caution.
He's 25 seconds back, or excuse me, he is 19 seconds back, but 12th of 13 cars on the lead lap.
Well, here goes Stenhouse now at the line, and here comes the leaders at the line now, so he's not too far ahead of them.
All right, we'll go side by side with 60 to go.
Introducing the new 2018 Ford F-150 with best-in-class towing, best-in-class payload, and best-in-class torque. The F-150 lineup has the capability to get big things to big places big time. And things just got bigger. F-150 is now Motor Trend's 2018 Truck of the Year. This is the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, pal. It is the bar.
Hey, Mark.
Thanks for the focus. Background action.
Great. And the next line is...
So this is the...
The snozzberries taste like snozzberries.
They might know what that is.
It's like the snozzberries taste like snozzberries.
That's
Okay.
exactly the way it goes, Hannah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Well,
not a Super Troopers movie.
okay. Well, she said it. I've seen that movie.
He
I
was
don't
like licking
remember
a window, but like...
And I'm set.
Background action.
And action.
Tape, rear view, brake pedal. Why do these matter at Talladega?
Tape on the grill, drive like a drill.
Flag is out and everybody on their feet.
Watch my back.
It's actually where I plan to keep you guys.
We're supposed to use this brake pedal?
Only if you want to lose. He's not lying, drivers. You either go fast.
Outside, come on. Stenhouse wins it!
Or you go home.
Wreck it bad.
On Thursday, for the first time ever, the NFL Draft is live on Fox.
With the first pick in the NFL Draft.
Join Troy Aikman and Joel Klatt for the 2018 NFL Draft, Thursday and Friday, live on Fox and NFL Network.
This next song is all about my $20 fill-up. 8 pieces of Kentucky Fried Chicken, all the fixings, and it'll feed your family of 4. Hit it, boys. A 1 and a 2, and we're out of time. It's finger licking good. Woo!
.54 laps to go in Richmond. You're watching leader Martin Truex from our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear learns, making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR, inspires what rolls into yours. The official tire of NASCAR, Goodyear.
What do you think, guys? Can Truex hold him off?
He's got a 0.6 of a second lead. And right now, Vince, it seems to have stabilized for the moment.
Well, we talked about those adjustments on that last pit stop. Were they going to be the right adjustments? They seem to have been for Truex, but how about for Clint Bowyer? He said his car has fired off much looser this time around. His spotter, Blake Griffin, told him, hang tight, it'll come to you, and it seems to be doing just that. Regan?
Adam Stevens on top of Kyle Busch's pit box just reminded his driver, we're going to have to go a little bit further on this run than the previous run. That's important because a driver, even if it's only 10 more laps, has to manage those tires through this run if he wants to get to the lead at the end.
Guys, I'm going to tell you, we're going to have a heck of a battle here at Fort Long. The 78, the 14, the 4, and now the 18 is bringing himself into play.
It's been a struggle for Denny Hamlin. He told us in the pre-race that they took a swing at it. The car did not work well for him in practice. Even though he qualified well, he wasn't sure what he'd have tonight. He's running an 8th. Pulling down on Kurt Busch for 7th place here.
And you just look back to practice, how much valuable time they lost in practice of making runs to be able to fine-tune and adjust this car for tonight's race.
Yeah, and just think, Mike, we have had no caution to work on the car.
No.
I mean, only on the stage breaks. That's it. So we haven't much chance to fix anything.
Certainly can't make any big adjustments, can you?
Nope.
Nice run for Eric Almirola, 9th place. Meanwhile, Ricky Stenhouse has finally pitted with 49 to go. Here's Chase Elliott, 10th place. He and teammate William Byron are the last 2 cars on the lead lap. Remember, Byron had a penalty on his last pit stop. He had been in the top 5 up until that point.
But a really nice night for both those kids. I mean, Byron, nice job. He's 11th, Elliott's 10th. Good job for both those guys tonight.
Ryan Newman, first car 1 lap down. Then Jamie McMurray for the transfer spot. Jimmy Johnson is the 4th car 1 lap down behind Kyle Larson.
And Mike, I think that's a heck of a recovery for the 48 car, because I mean, he's been terrible tonight. Oh, trouble, turn 4.
Spinning. Oh. And collecting. That is Ryan Blaney and Ricky Stenhouse.
Whoa.
Almost got Keselowski.
Everybody made it through barely.
Those 2 Penske cars just squeaked right through there. And we have the first caution flag for contact. The 12 spinning and collecting Stenhouse. The 72 of Cole Witt also involved.
See, Mike, I'm not sure. I know the 17 just came out of the pits. He's got new tires on. He may have been so much faster that he ran up on the back of that 72 and nowhere to go.
Well, I think the 12, he almost saved it. And then the 17 went on by and they
clipped him.
Made contact. Yeah.
Yep. Blaney's come to pit road with a good bit of damage. Let's see what transpires here. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I think the 12 of Blaney was passing the 72, and the 17 had so much more speed, like you said, UW, and he just drove in there thinking he could maybe make that pass. And then the 12 really saves it, just comes down and clips Stenhouse.
Keselowski threads the needle.
Wow, that was
between
close.
Stenhouse and the wall.
Caution, back it down, watch the bottom, watch 17. Sorry, I couldn't slow down anymore, I started locking up.
I don't know what you did, but you did well.
I'd say Stenhouse did a heck of a job
that
of
right
staying
there,
out of the wall.
Woo. You know that Keselowski thought it's over.
Which is what happened to Blaney last week at Bristol when he was leading the race.
Yeah.
The car spun in front of him, got squeezed into the wall, and nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go. All right, boys. 45 laps to go. It's going to get good.
From Jamie McMurray. There it goes.
Stand behind you.
So 1 caution flag for contact. That ties the record for least caution flags in a cup race here. Pit road is open. Martin Truex is going to lead the lead lap cars in. Regan?
Kyle Busch heads down pit road. He wanted that run to go green right there. He was extremely happy with his race car. They're going to give him a Gatorade and no changes to that car except maybe a little bit of tape on the grill. Matt?
And Kevin Harvick pulling into his box. They're going to try to get a small piece of tape off the grill if they can, but they don't want to slow down to stop any. Harvick said the last 3 runs, the car just has not gotten any better, but still drive off, not good.
Big discussion in the 14 between crew chief Mike Boyaravich and Clint Boyer as to whether or not they should go back on a previous adjustment. Fired off much too loose this time. A slight wedge adjustment for the 14. No changes for the 78 of Truex.
Looks like Boyer's going to give up a couple of spots here. Harvick and Kyle Busch pass him in the pit lane.
I think they made a slight adjustment on the 14, slowed that stop down just enough that he lost a couple of spots.
Yeah, but Boyer's going to have that outside lane on the restart.
Martin Truex from that #1 pit stall. Pole sitter has first choice of pit positions. Usually takes the last #1 pit stall. Now you're with Alex Bowman as he threads his way through here.
Bowman has had a pretty exciting night.
Yes.
That's the first time it didn't include any contact.
Yeah, good thing Nationwide was on his side.
Ryan Blaney, Ricky Stenhouse get together to bring out the caution. Just kind of the way racing goes when one driver has tires that are much fresher than everybody else's. Remember, Stenhouse did not pit with everybody else, stayed out a long time, got fresh tires, fired off like a rocket, and right into trouble.
Yeah, this is the dangest race I think I've ever seen. I mean, to run all these laps without any cautions, but I'm just telling you, I could feel, I didn't know what was going to happen. I knew something was going to happen, and we're going to have some exciting, the last 45 laps of this race are going to be some of the best you've ever seen, I promise.
We've seen so many different grooves, and I think that's why we've seen this thing go green so long. Now, those grooves are going to narrow up.
It's on, isn't it?
More action's about to come.
All right, will this be the run to the checkers? We'll see. And next week, something completely different.
The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series is racing to Alabama to hit the super speedway at Fast. 500 miles to shell out on the big stage in Talladega. See which drivers will get their time to shine. Coverage begins on FS1 and continues on Fox.
World's fastest speedway, those freight train drafts. And on Saturday in Talladega, our drivers only telecast. Here they are, drivers turned announcers, as we did one day last year at Pocono. This time they get to tackle Talladega. There'll be some fast talkers among that group. They will have to be.
And then me and Darryl are going to go down in the production truck and throw them a few curveballs.
Yeah, we're going to do a little directing.
Oh, goodness.
Uh-oh, no, well, maybe we'll do some producing.
You know, since,
no, okay.
Since you take direction so well,
yeah,
I just can't wait to see how that turns out. All right, Martin Truex has never won a cup race on a short track. He is your race leader. Kevin Harvick in second, looking for his 4th win in 2018. Kyle Busch in third, trying to make it 3 in a row. You don't have to bet on him, but I wouldn't bet against him. Clint Boyer going for his 2nd short track win of the season. And 5th, Joey Logano. It has been a year since Joey got to hoist the trophy at the end of one of these cup races. Now, these are all wave arounds, drivers that chose not to pit under this caution flag to get a lap back. They include Stenhouse, still on those pretty fresh tires.
And Mike, this is the best of the best. Truex, Harvick, Kyle Busch, Boyer, Logano, Keselowski, Hamlin, and then you got Elliott and Byron there in 8th and 9th.
But I think no more saving tires. Now, I mean, there's still 40 laps to go, but track position, and watch the intensity level of how much further they drive it in the corners, how that increases on this restart. Larry.
Those wave around drivers, they have to get a caution quickly because most of them have 30 laps on their tires, so they're banking on a caution coming quickly.
They don't care. That's their best and only shot, Larry.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Hey, Mike, no more Mr. Nice Guy, okay? We're going racing. We're going to run 40 laps here like it's qualifying.
Green flag.
I wasn't talking about you. I mean, talking about
I know.
Boy, great jump by Truex. That whole inside lane. see Larson up the hill.
Yep, Larson way up, but did not touch the wall. And Kyle Busch fighting for second and gets it.
Yes, he does.
Denny Hamlin in the mix in fifth behind Logano.
How about Hamlin? Kind of been a sleeper all night long. Yep. Here he is.
Doesn't like this car very much all weekend. Logano on the bumper of Harvick.
Oh, and then the 11 of Hamlin as a 22 bobbled off of turn 2. He almost gave him a shot.
Boys, I'm telling you, take no prisoner now. You got to go hard. If you see an opening, stick your nose in it.
Keselowski to the back bumper of Byron right here, as along with teammate Chase Elliott.
Chase is trying to help him out. Get down that back straightaway.
Well,
he's going to take it.
Look at this.
That's not help.
Oh, my gosh.
That was definitely not help.
I told you if there's an opening, you got to stick your nose in there and then listen, buddy. Go for it.
This isn't over.
Oh, no.
Elliott to the outside of Keselowski, takes the spot. Kurt Busch looking at the 41.
Coming back on the outside of Chase Elliott.
You're loving this, aren't you?
I love every minute of this, boys.
You bet.
This is as good as it's what I love about short tracks. You can push, shove, beat, bang, keep on digging.
Watch Chase Elliott's hands.
Yeah, he has white gloves. You can really see those hands working through that windshield. Left, right.
You know what he said? This probably isn't a very good idea, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Elbows up.
Hey, saw an opening. Got to go.
Oh! Jamie McMurray hard in the wall.
Yeah, he hit the wall hard. I think someone may have crowded him up there.
A lot of smoke from Ryan Newman.
Yeah, that's Newman with a serious tire rub.
Yeah, he's got to get to pit road fast.
And no caution.
I'm not so sure that he didn't. You know, he might have busted something when he hit that car. Well, he may have busted a radiator or a oil cooler.
The state of Virginia.
Uh-oh, teammates not real happy with one another.
Oh, now we're going to have a little get together here. Family feud. Come on, boys. What'd I tell you? How many sets of tire we got left now, Larry?
Oh, we got plenty. We got 4.
You may have teammates, but with 30 laps to go, you have no friend.
That's exactly right.
Newman has made it around to pit road. We saw McMurray hit the wall really hard. Let's see if we can see why. He's the #1, center of your screen in red and black.
Like Kurt Busch.
Kurt kind of runs him wild.
Yeah, he got up the hill.
Well, I don't know why he's mad Larson, unless there's something that transpired a lap or two before that.
Let's see down here in the 3rd and 4th turn.
Yeah, Newman had nowhere to go. Not sure what that discussion was.
Well, you know what I think it is? Somebody hit me. I'm going to hit somebody back.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what happened, but I'm mad.
So Kurt Busch carrying McMurray up and into the wall.
Yeah, if I was going to be mad at anybody, I think I'd be a little bit mad at Kurt Busch, but
I'm not sure what this is all about.
Obviously, McMurray feels like something happened that maybe caused him to be in that position.
What we have here is a failure to communicate.
I think they're communicating perfectly.
Well, I mean, you know, your teammates, you'd think they would know what, can I talk to my teammate or tell my teammate, do something.
So McMurray had damage and a flat. Newman goes to the garage. Here's Larson's radio.
Tara, my car now. I don't know what that's about. Just let him go. They just gave us the free pass. Not our fault. We got in a wreck. Not our deal.
All right, pits are open, Regan.
Kyle Busch hits his pit stall. His race car was very tight landing right there. He feels like he was on the splitter too hard as the speeds are picking up. They're going to free up the center as well. Matt?
Harvick drove through the oil from Newman's car. He said the car was loose on entry. He did move the track bar around tight across the center. He was losing so much time and no drive off as well, Vince.
Want to be fast and efficient here with your pit stops. No mistakes. The 78 said they fired off a little freer that time, but they think it's the racetrack. Still, no changes this time. Not the first one off pit road.
A little issue on the left sides of that 78 pit stop.
And I think the source of the discontent was Jamie McMurray and Kyle Larson were both racing to be in the free pass position. Well,
yeah, that could be.
Here's the race off pit road.
That'd be my story anyway.
Busch, Hamlin, Truex, 3 Toyotas. Top of the field. Harvick and Keselowski. Going to be a little more cleanup here.
Mike, that really paid dividends for those wave around guys like Jimmy Johnson, Daniel Suarez, Aaron Jones. They're back on the lead lap, and they got 4 fresh tires right there.
Game on.
All right, while they clean things up, let's go to Chris and Michael for highlights.
All right, thank you, Mike. A quick recap. Kyle Busch, remember, going for his 3rd straight, started 32nd, moved all the way up inside the top 10 in just 34 laps. That's when it was daylight, and then pit road problems.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of problems down on pit road, uncontrolled tires, and in this case, they're throwing equipment across the wall. The equipment actually catches a guy.
That's in a rough spot there. Ouch. Penalty there. And then Kurt Busch.
He swore his tires were spinning. He grabbed his air wrench and yanked it down pit road, causing problems for Busch.
Kurt Busch has led 98 laps in this race. Martin Truex Jr. and Clint Bowyer battling back and forth, and this creates here a 3-car wreck.
Watch all the action that goes on here. Greg Alding barely slips by. Brad Keselowski right next to the wall nearly hits Stenhouse. Gets away without any damage.
What a maneuver against the wall. And then moments ago, it's funny, we were listening, Jamie McMurray said, did he cause that, meaning Ryan Newman? And on the radio, the transmission said, no, we think it was the 41.
Definitely, Kurt Busch just ran Jamie up into the wall. I don't know what his problem was with the 42, his teammate, but obviously he wasn't happy. You could see some after caution extracurricular activity.
And we haven't seen a lot of that in Richmond, but this is the place that causes that.
But we've seen some great racing, Chris. It's been so fun watching these guys battle side by side. A lot of intensity, and it just keeps ratcheting up.
All right, some people find it a hairy experience when you come to a track like this, and in the race summary, you see the leaders, the caution. We only have 28 to go. One of the stories here, Martin Truex Jr., who has led the most laps, the defending champ, 0 for 74 in short track races in his career. Led the most laps tonight. He's passed 1,000 laps led on short tracks in his career.
We know how disappointed Joe Gibbs has been with the air guns, and he's made a lot of static about that. But what about that pit stop for the Gibbs teams? Put Hamlin and Kyle Busch out in front, and I think those two at this point in the race are the fastest cars on the track. So advantage right now to the Gibbs Toyotas.
And 3 Toyotas in front, and then you have a couple of Fords. Brad Keselowski, that pit crew, they gained a couple of spots, 3 spots actually, and he's looking for his first win of the year. At this point last year, he had already been to victory lane.
And think about one other guy, Jimmy Johnson. He's finally back in the game. We talked about how pitiful they ran early in the race. He kept digging. He found his way back on the lead lap, and that car has some speed. It'll be fun to see if Jimmy can hop in there and do anything.
And starting deep, as we mentioned here.
Wow, that's all I can say. He comes from the back better than anyone else. Check that out. 30th to the win in Sonoma. Tonight he starts 32nd, and right now, Chris, he's my favorite to win this thing.
Trying to win his 3rd straight 5 times in his career. He has won back-to-back, came in as the hot driver along with the favorite here, but prior to the year, the favorite to win the Monster Energy Sprint Cup or the NASCAR Cup Championship, and right with him Kevin Harvick as well. And when you looked at that right before that caution came out, you had the guys who have been dominant this year with Truex, with Harvick, with Kyle Busch.
Yeah, and isn't it great how the cream just rises to the top? But I'm going to tell you, Chris, this track is going to be tricky. There's a lot of speedy drive that has gone down. We saw either oil or water leaking from the 31 of Ryan Newman when he went to the garage. So footing could be treacherous on this restart.
Chevrolet has not led a single lap tonight, although William Byron is up to 6th, followed by Chase Elliott at 7th with just 26 to go. Let's head back upstairs and rejoin Jeff Gordon, Darrell Waltrip, and Mike Joy.
Thanks, Chris. Kyle Busch, your race leader. His 2 worst starts in Richmond before tonight, 32nd and 34th. He finished 2nd both times. Now, to 45 Cup wins, where Kyle Busch sits right now, he is one of the youngest in NASCAR to achieve that. Here's the list. Jeff Gordon first. He was the youngest to do most everything in NASCAR, at least for a while. Richard Petty, second youngest to reach that mark, and then 2-time champion and Hall of Famer Ned Jarrett. 2-time champion Hall of Famer Herb Thomas. And Kyle Busch, among the youngest to get to 45 victories.
So, Mike, you polled the drivers, and what do they say? Who are the two best short track racers? Kyle Busch. Denny Hamlin. Okay. Where are they?
1-2.
So, I guess we can decide after this race.
Well, we're going to find out that teammate thing or friend thing is out the window right now, too, because you're going to have to be up on the wheel getting after it right now if you're going to win this race.
Well, think back to 2016. Kyle Busch was leading and he got moved out of the way for the win by his then teammate Carl Edwards.
Yeah, on the last lap coming off turn 4. So I think Kyle Busch's cars, I mean, we know Hamlin has struggled with his car earlier on the Friday. They didn't have a car they were happy with. They've thrown a lot of things at it tonight. Just the fact that he's up there and challenging for this win is pretty impressive. And this, hey, watch this.
Yep. 2 years ago here. This was a day race.
We saw Kyle Busch do the bump and run on Kyle Larson last week. That was a bump and run. That was more than a bump by Carl Edwards.
That was a bump and a backflip.
Well, boys, Larry, what do you think we ought to do here?
Both hands and feet up on that wheel and pull those belts tight one more time.
Yeah, baby. Oh, come on.
I'm not so sure we're done seeing cautions yet either, Larry.
No way.
They will restart with 22 laps to go. Don't forget we have overtime available if needed. And what, 2 of the last 10 spring races here have gone to overtime?
Just we've had 2 overtimes in the last 10 spring races, and 3 times in the last 10 spring races the caution came in the last 10 laps.
If they get to beating and banging, that pace car's got a good shot at it.
I'm looking back here in that 3rd row outside William Byron. I guarantee he's never seen anything like what he's about to see.
Here we go. Green, green, green.
Oh, I think William may have missed a shift. He definitely didn't get going.
Oh, yeah, and he's up in that real high, loose stuff. That's going to be treacherous.
Truex clears the 11, goes to 2nd.
They made it.
Not yet. They're 3-4 wide back here.
Johnson takes him 3 wide to the bottom. He gets into Suarez. Suarez comes up, gets into Jones. Almirola gets into Suarez.
Looks like bumper cars. Everybody bumping into each other, but they're hanging on to them. That's a cool thing.
No time to lift, Darrell.
No.
And Kyle Busch pulls away.
We've seen how good the 78 of Mark Truex has been on these shorter runs. He had to work on those longer runs. I just hope he still has some short run if he's going to put up a battle to the 18 of Kyle Busch.
Yeah, 20 laps is not a lot of time to get anything done here. You put Kyle Busch out front, he's a hard man to chase down.
Byron Logano side by side fighting for turn 3. 9th place. Let's go back to that 4 wide for a second as this sorts out here.
Watch this. 3 wide in the middle of the corner. Then here's Suarez. I think Jimmy Johnson gets into Suarez, scoots him up the hill. He gets into the 20. He comes down, hits the 48. 48 hits the 10.
You can't leave an inch right now. Somebody will take it.
Woohoo!
Truex is catching the leader. He took 3 car lengths from Kyle Busch going down into the corner. Kyle got off turn 2 a little better. Martin closes entering. Kyle pulls away a little on exit.
Yeah. 22:44 to 22:46, pretty close to the same amount of time. That time by 22:62 to a 58. So not a lot of difference in lap time.
Here comes the closer, Harvick, to 4th.
He's going to have about the whole back straightaway to make up in a pretty short period of time.
17 to go, 16 this time.
About 4 of our top 5 made their fastest lap about 2 laps ago in this entire race.
Yeah, 22:42. That's fast.
Night time is the right time.
Picking them up and putting them down.
"17 lead lap cars back to Matt DiBenedetto. And the front five here, pretty equally spaced, at least for the moment. 5th place is the battle. Chase Elliott.
Yeah.
Fighting with Brad Keselowski in the 2.
Yeah, it looks like Chase has the position down on the bottom.
So hard to complete that, though, on that inside coming off of turn 2.
As long as he can get to the inside, he's got a chance because he can get along the side of the 2. No, 2's going to pull him.
Kurt Busch for 8th against Joey Logano.
Little nudge, little bump and run trying to happen between the 9 and the 2.
Oh, here we go. There's Boyer right behind those two saying, come on, boys, make a little contact, make me some room, let me get by.
Or let me take you 3 wide. He's thinking about it.
He will do it if he has to. He's looking. He's there. Whoa. Some tight racing right there, guys.
12 to go. Truex took about 3/100ths from Kyle Busch on that last lap. Kyle was a little quicker this time.
Clint's a little better down here in 1 and 2. I think Chase a little better in 3 and 4. Right now, the 2 cars looking in the mirror saying, y'all race each other hard. Come on, boys. I'm pulling for you.
Yeah, just you'll see these drivers, they'll give that inside lane. They know how difficult it is to complete that pass. You see the 9 of Chase Elliott jumped in the throttle trying to get to the outside of the 2 of Keselowski. That just didn't work out.
3. Spinner up and into the wall. We'll have a caution.
Ooh, boy.
That is David Ragan.
What do you do on pit road now?
Got a left rear.
Reagan was on the lead lap, running in 15th when he spun up into the wall.
This is going to be interesting right here.
They've only been out there. They've only been out there for 20 laps. There's only 10 to go. What do you want to do?
We have 11 laps on these tires. They pitted a while ago with only 6 laps on their tires. We're probably going to go back racing here with about 5 or 6 to go. I think pit road's going to be a busy place. I really do.
I hope so. But I think I would stay out if I could.
Kyle Larson gets the free pass again. And there's what happens to David Ragan. Cuts down a tire, I believe, left rear.
Yep.
In Calamity Corner and spins into the wall.
Oh, this is going to be interesting.
16 cars on the lead lap.
Here's the money stop. Here they come.
Well, Truex has got to take advantage of that #1 pit stall. Regan.
Kyle Busch coming down pit road. He hits his pit box right now. His race car that run was a little bit free and lacked a little bit of drive off, but he wants to stay a little bit free in case he gets caught in traffic. Matt.
And Denny Hamlin, the upper right. What a recovery this team has made. Really out to lunch on Friday, turned it around on Saturday. Meanwhile, the 4-car of Harvick loose everywhere, Vince.
The 78 of Martin Truex Jr. said, I liked it that time. It's going to be no changes, just 4 tires for Truex. They like this #1 pit stall. They think it's going to be an advantage, but still, they're struggling, and it's going to be a slow stop for the 78.
That ended his night.
That hurts for Martin Truex. He comes out 9th.
Yep.
Wow. What do you say?
I don't know, but definitely have a meeting about this.
A lot of smoke from Daniel Suarez's car, and Kyle Larson will get the free pass, get back on the lead lap here. We'll look down in the lower left. Martin Truex's stop was 4 seconds slower than that of the leader.
Mike had all types of trouble on the left side, especially with the jack. You're going to see it right here. Right side was a pretty good stop, but watch him jack the car up. He goes in right there. See, he has to jack the car back up. He didn't have it off the ground, and that was the difference right there.
That's a killer, man.
Boy, hard to believe that's 4 seconds, but it didn't take much.
No. And look at those faces. You're talking about faces that are dejected.
They were this close to getting Martin Truex his first short track cup win.
And to me, they didn't need to have a blinding fast stop. They got the advantage coming out of the pits with that #1 pit stop. They just needed to have a solid stop.
A lot of wave arounds led by Casey Kane, Trevor Bayne, Jamie McMurray. A whole bunch of them. Uncontrolled tire for Paul Menard.
Yeah, the 21 car. Well, didn't we just see this restart a second ago? 18-11 on the front row, the 4 and the 22. Yeah, baby. Shake them boots. Do the boot scoot.
And he looks up at the monitor, and there he is. Woo. Hey, turn around.
Hey,
there's the camera.
I'm on TV. Go, boys, go.
2 Toyotas ahead of 2 Fords, a Chevy and a Ford. So it's Kyle Busch and Hamlin on the front row, Harvick and Logano row 2, Elliott and Keselowski row 3, Bowyer and Byron, Jimmy Johnson, Eric Jones the 5th row, then Truex back in 11th with Kurt Busch, Almirola and Suarez, Dylan DiBenedetto, and here we go. 6 laps to go, green flag.
Oh, Logano doesn't get a good start. Look at 3 wide, 9 of Chase Elliott going to the inside of Harvick.
Ooh, baby.
7 second places for Chase Elliott, looking for his first
baby.
win.
Oh, that's
here he comes.
It's looking a little dirty over there. Chase Elliott is making an incredible move out on the inside of the 4 car.
Busch, Hamlin, Elliott, Harvick.
Harvick coming back aggressively to the outside of the 9.
5 to go.
The only guy that's enjoying this is the guy leading right now. He's looking back saying, y'all just go right on and have yourself a ball.
It's all in his mirror. Car in the wall, Stenhouse, turn 3. Caution. Good grief.
How many set start we got down there?
Ricky Stenhouse car just would not turn going into Calamity Corner, and Stenhouse pounds the wall. That is Samantha Busch. Will this have... First, we thought this race was going to be over before supper time ended.
I knew it was way too calm for those first 2 stages.
Now, folks like Samantha Busch are going, will this ever end?
I'm telling you.
Oh.
Trevor Bayne gets the free pass.
All right, Larry, they all came down pit road. What are you thinking now, crew chief?
Yeah, we only ran 2 laps right there, and now we're getting more and more drivers back on the lead lap. I'm going to say the front half absolutely stays. You're probably going to see some guys in the back part. Why not? Still got 2 more sets of tires laying in the pits. Come on and get 4 more.
Yeah, I agree with you, Larry. I think we've got to be at the point where track position trumps tires. With this few laps to go.
We went from about 12 drivers on the lead lap, and now we got half the field back on the lead lap.
That's right, with the wave around.
Just saw a shot of Kenny Francis there, and I tell you, he's got to be thrilled with the way Chase Elliott is driven tonight. Great calls in the pits, good pit stops.
Yep.
Not a bad replacement to have as a crew chief.
Heck,
Kenny
no.
Francis.
I think we may have a tire rub on William Byron's car, the 24.
Yeah, I saw the right side of his car. I don't know where he got into something, but he did. He does have some right side damage.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely going to have to come in and fix that.
Nah, not for 3 laps.
How about Kevin Harvick in 4th place? Let's listen in on the closer's radio.
Did you hit me again? Yeah, on a brake check, I think he did. There was no brake check. Somebody hit me in the middle of turn 1 and 2. Oh, that was 22 for sure. I thought you meant right there, Kevin.
Let's see what this is what he's talking about here.
He said somebody hit him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the 22.
I don't know if the 22 got a little bump from the 14 of Bowyer, and then that turned him sideways, and he collected the 4.
A bad night heads for worse for Martin Truex.
Everything was going so well.
Yep. So we go to NASCAR's version of overtime. Green, then white, then checker. It's a 2-lap shootout. If the leader takes the white flag under green, then the next flag, yellow or checker, effectively ends the race.
Well,
if the yellow comes out before the white flag, which is entirely possible here, we'll try it again.
This is going to be borderline, okay?
And again. And again. Now, Ricky Stenhouse brought out the caution, but apparently that did not do a lot of damage to his car. He's still running. They're going to put new left sides on it. And let's get ready for Credit One overtime.
Is this our first overtime?
Chapter 1.
Well, this is going to be.
Has been.
It's going to be pretty good here. The restart is so critical, and I tell you, that 9 car,
That car is fast, and nobody in that front half dozen is hungrier for a win than Chase Elliott.
And man, he's in a good position on the inside, right behind the leader here. I tell you, Kyle Busch better have some get-go.
Green, white checker, green flag.
Well, you got to watch Logano. Sometimes seeing him get aggressive on these restarts, make it 3 wide. Chase did a great job of blocking them.
Jimmy Johnson takes it 3 wide.
Well, I don't know if that's 3 or 4 wide.
Okay.
Jimmy Johnson. I can't even believe we're talking about Jimmy. I mentioned him all night long, and look at him go.
Hamlin trying to make something happen here from third. White flag.
Oh, my gosh.
Johnson moves down 3 wide again, back at 6th place. What a recovery for the 48 tonight.
They'll never make it off turn 2.
I can't believe we're going to
somehow they
did. Busch going 3 in a row. I didn't see this happening when this race started.
They'll never repeat from 32nd. Kyle Busch wins Richmond. Everybody makes it across the line.
Great work, pit crew. You guys won this one. Pat on the back, everybody.
Chase Elliott gets his 8th
right there.
second place finish.
Hey,
I believe that ties his Hall of Fame father, Bill Elliott, 8 second-place finishes before his first victory. And this is Chase's 8th. Denny Hamlin, who didn't know how his car would handle, ends up 3rd. Had a great finish. Joey Logano 4th, Kevin Harvick the top 5. Kyle Busch taking home the checkered flag for the 3rd week in a row is today's Sunoco fueling victory. Typical short track Saturday night. One driver will leave here happy.
Yeah.
This one. Adam Stevens.
I don't know. There might be several guys that finish back. Jimmy Johnson's got to leave here ecstatic.
What a comeback for Johnson to 6th. Yes.
Yeah, great. What was it we said about Kyle Busch not winning from worse than 30th?
Change that.
You got to be careful telling him this kind of stats.
Yep, 32nd. He captures the flag. And now for his signature bow.
Thank you very much. I'm going to the house.
And if you notice, the cheers are beginning to outnumber the boos when Kyle Busch scores a win.
Look at this.
He's going to go celebrate with the fans.
Right. Good man.
I think there's a lot of M&M fans out there, too.
A lot of kids. Great gesture. Proud of you, buddy.
Well, he proved tonight he may just be the best short tracker out there.
And guess what? I mean, he's coming close to 50 wins now. I think when you get to the 50 win category, that's big.
That's his 46th victory, tied for 15th on NASCAR's all-time list with Buck Baker. 3 wins and 9 starts this year for Kyle Busch.
Tires to face challenging conditions on the track and on the road. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. And if you see Mike Severini around the track, tell him how much you enjoy your Goodyears. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott, 8th time he's finished 2nd, still searching for that first Cup win. He's standing by with Matt Yoakum.
So many sidebar stories for Chase Elliott and the 9 team. Crew chief not here, Kenny Francis filling in. And boy, you survived a great night with a crazy restart.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty for sure. We had a big fight from our Napa Auto Parts and Napa Brakes team tonight. We have a lot of work to do. I still feel like, you know, to get to have the speed that we need and the car driving like we want it to, or like I want it to at least. But our restarts fell into our hands there at the end. Having short runs kind of played into our favor, and was able to move forward because of that. So circumstances were on our side tonight, which is not normal. So I'm happy about that. Very much positive, leaving Richmond with a P2 finish. Regan.
Martin Truex Jr. leads a race-high 121 laps. I know how bad you want that first short track win. Looked like you and Kyle were going to have a great battle tonight. How disappointed are you didn't get to battle it out with him the last laps there?
Yeah, pretty disappointed that we didn't get a chance at least. You know, it's unfortunate, but yeah, I don't know what we got to do to win one of these short tracks. It just seems like we just can't ever get everything to go the way we need it to, and you know, tonight we beat ourselves, so that's unfortunate. But guys did a really good job on the race car, and you know, we were awful that first run of the race, and I thought we were really in trouble. So just fought all night long to stick with it and make good adjustments and put ourselves in position to try to win another one and just come up short. So frustrating, but proud of everybody for the effort, and hopefully we can get things fixed.
2017 champion Martin Truex Jr. finishes 14th tonight. Matt?
Denny Hamlin comes home third tonight, and where this team started yesterday afternoon in practice to where you are tonight, does it almost feel like with this type of recovery a win?
Not really. Not really. I'd like to be carrying the checker flag like the 18 is there.
But you guys were almost out to lunch, you felt like, yesterday.
We couldn't make a lap. I mean, we honestly couldn't make a lap on Friday without, you know, sliding up towards the wall. So we definitely made it better. I would say at the beginning, the first half of the race, we didn't make it better. It was still really bad. But we made some adjustments and made our car quite a bit better. Got some track position there with some good pit stops. And, you know, our car was extremely good in the long run the second half of the race. And that kind of got us back in contention. And, you know, we just needed 600-mile race.
Thanks, Teddy.
Kyle Busch came in with a sizable lead, so really we're a quarter through, right? 9th race of the 36-race season. And Kyle Busch, last time, Michael, that he won 3 straight, well, the only other time was the year he won the Cup Championship in 2015.
And I know how hungry he was after the 2017 season, coming up just a few car lengths short of winning that championship. So this team's inspired, and they're on quite the roll.
Yeah, you see Jimmy Johnson moving into that top 16. He had to work his way up to get into the top 10 with a 6th-place finish. But Kyle Busch, 32 years old, in the 32nd spot starting. No driver has ever won this race from that far back, making history. And Vince is there for the celebration.
Richmond is his playground. 5 times in victory lane at this racetrack for Kyle Busch. You came from 32nd to 1st to do it. How?
You just got to work, man. All these guys, everybody on this whole M&M's Camry team, they do a great job for me. I can't say enough about Adam Stevens and my guys. The pit crew tonight, they won this race for us. They got us off pit road first those last 2 times that we came down for tires, and got us where we needed to be. So in case anybody's wondering why the car is so many different colors this week, it's for the M&M's flavor vote. So anybody can go and vote for their favorite flavor of M&M's, whether it's mint, espresso, or raspberry. And then those flavors will be in stores this summer. It's a pretty cool deal that M&M's does every year, and gets new flavors out to the market. But can't say enough about this Toyota Camry. It was just awesome today, out front all day long. And want to thank DVX Sunglasses, Rheem, Interstate Batteries, Cessna, NOS Energy Drink, and all the fans, man. This is really cool for as good as the crowd was tonight. Really cool out here in Richmond. It was a little chilly, but otherwise it was a fantastic evening. So hopefully everybody enjoyed that one.
Really cool that you've won 3 in a row, too. What's that mean?
It's definitely cool. We won 3 in a row. We did it a couple of years ago, and you know, now I don't know if you can shoot for 4 in a row. It's hard to go to Talladega with that much of a winning streak and think that you can go to victory lane, but we're going to go there anyway and give it a shot. So we'll see what we can do. Our guys are amazing. They're awesome every week, and love racing with these guys and Joe Gibbs Racing. Everybody at TRD, Costa Mesa, appreciate you guys. I think this is the first Toyota to win the Toyota Owners 400, if I'm not mistaken, but if I am, congratulations to the last guy, but I'm pretty happy to be here tonight.
Yeah, the wheelman's pretty good, too. Congratulations. Well done.
And he has won at Talladega. Kyle Busch has never won 4 in a row, but we see history in the first 9 races. We've never had 2 drivers win 3 in a row in the first 9 races. And that's one, of course, Kevin Harvick won 3 in a row earlier. Now Kyle Busch with 3 in a row. We'll have more live from Richmond Raceway. We're glad you're watching NASCAR on Fox. Chris Myers welcoming you back of the 3 consecutive wins for Kyle Busch in his 18 Joe Gibbs Toyota. The Hall of Fame coach And the people's driver, you know, he's become that, as Mike Joy pointed out after he won, fewer boos, more cheers when he took that bow, and has become, and you know how talented he is, polarizing, yes, but important personality for this sport. And the race winners this year, this is the second overtime race that we've had this season, Mike. The only other one was the Daytona 500, that thrilling finish with Austin Dillon. But this is one where, you know, people thought Kyle Busch was tough to beat coming in, even though he started way at the back of the pack.
But what dominance we've seen from Kyle lately and Harvick early in the year. And what I'm looking for are who other drivers are going to step up and be winners. Remember, we're going to Talladega last year. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. really tough on the restrictor plate races. But I'm looking at Denny, Brad, and Joey. I think those guys are going to win soon.
Yeah, I mean, the unpredictability of Talladega, and you heard Kyle Busch say, hey, 4 in a row, I don't even know. But if anybody's capable, he is. Again, it's something he has yet to do in his career, but he's shown the ability at the age of 32. A lot more championships in his future. He's been in the championship for the last 3 years. He told us he thought he had the car that could win it all last year when Martin Truex Jr. in a Toyota ended up with the title, and putting that winning sticker on, always a good feeling.
You just got to love where this team is, man. They've done a lot of special things already early in this season.
You mentioned Talladega, so we go from a short track to NASCAR's biggest wide open spaces, and it is a race that Kyle has had success and an opportunity at the quarter mark of the season for some driver. Don't forget to support your late local news. The Fox Local News connects you with your environment and make sure you have the latest information that you need. Just like we try to do at race day, the Geico 500. Catch Race Up when you can on FS1. We'll be on Fox next Sunday from Talladega, Alabama. For Mike Stevepak, Rich Gross, our entire production crew, I'm Chris Myers. Thanks for being a part of NASCAR on Fox.